There we go. That's not overpowering my voice. Let's see. Shall we start? Let's see. New game.
Why not old game?
And, oh gosh, these characters. The character selection screen. Let's see. I have to look like a doctor, apparently.
Or vet.
Or vet, I guess. In a white coat. I like how you put your mouse over them to go. Ah, you get a big me. That's what they look like they're gonna say. Their eyes get really big, like. Ah. You know what? Oh, I'll do her. She looks cool. Should I just name her my usual username? Or should I just do a random name?
I'll just go with the usual name.
Okay. Accept! This game supports an autosave feature. Please don't turn off your game while it's saving. I'm an angel and I accept, or I'm a devil and I reject. What if I reject it? Does that mean it will never save?
I would assume that. With how
Maybe.
it's worded.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with I'm an angel. I'll accept. Sure, fine, whatever. Oh, nice. That loading screen. Chapter 1. Oh, I thought it was in space at first. I'm not sure how long we've been sailing, but it feels like forever. It feels like we aren't even on a boat. We're just in water.
I'm not sure how long we've been floating in this ocean.
I mean, there's no boat here. It's just waves. And sky and birds. Yeah. Where's the boat? Let's see. Not feeling too well, so it's a huge relief to hear the deck lads shout. Oh, there he is. Island approach! Make yourself ready! His name is Joe. Okay.
Well, yeah, he's average.
Yeah, he's the average Joe.
It's just Joe.
Joe. I'm finally here. When I applied last month, I was just a broke student living off baked beans. And I didn't really think I had a chance of being accepted to be part of the prestigious Cat Island research team. Okay, we're a researcher. Okay, makes sense, I guess.
No one wants to be a roommate of yours. Damn it! Good lord, you should have spray cans everywhere in that room.
Yet, here it is, the little black dot in the distance, growing bigger by the second. It's the infamous Cat Island, the place where I will call home for the next few months. Alright.
Okay.
My heart momentarily skipped a beat. What if there's a big mistake? What if they accepted someone else's application by accident, sent me the offer to me? I rummage around in my bag until I find the papers. It's blank. Oh. It's typing itself out for me. DPRI. DP Corp. What is the DP Corporation? Dear Kagger, we are. Yeah, it types itself. Dear Kagger, we are pleased to be able to offer you the position of research assistant to Professor Pauper at our research facility on Cat Island. It'll be an initial period of 8 weeks. It'll be sent. Your contract will be sent separately. We look forward to working with you. Yours sincerely, Professor Pauper, PhD, BSc, Hans, DPG. Good grief. No mistake. That's my name right there in the top left-hand corner. And there's his. Why is it in capitalized? That's kind of weird. Name at the bottom. The genius behind this whole operation. Professor Popper, science genius, and my new boss. Let me guess, it's gonna be a cat. I look up from my paper, see dry land rapidly approaching before us. It seems to be surrounded by a huge barrier of impenetrable black rocks. How are we even gonna get in there if it's impenetrable? As we get closer, we're not slowing down, and I begin to worry that we're gonna crash into them. Ah! At the very last moment, we take a sharp turn to the left, and suddenly we're sailing smoothly towards a jetty, through an opening in the rocks. Oh, okay. So at least we wouldn't run into them. I blow out the breath that I've been holding and break into a smile. Nicely done, Skipper! The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel, ignoring my attempts at the camaraderie, and shouts rather brusquely. Take your belongings, we won't be back for days. Don't leave nothing you'll need! Okay, Bob. Thank you! Bob Bliss.
You can tell it's so intimidating, and you're just like, okay, thanks, Bob.
That's what his name is. Okay, thanks, Bob. I was probably glad the ferryman and his son and pick up my bags, ready to disembark. We glide seamlessly up in the wooden jetty, and the son leaps ashore to tie us off. We're greeted by a bulky man in a uniform who takes it to be a security officer of some kind. Oh, what does he look like? Oh. Zane. He actually has a full name. The other guys just are named, like, Bob or Joe. There's Zane Jones. Why does he have, a wider...
Yeah, that's actually a good question. He looks fatter in the
He
photo.
I guess photos make you look fat now.
Well, they say the camera has 20 pounds.
Yeah. But his ear is so small. Like in the normal picture here, his ear is like really wide. In this one, he has like a really small ear, so it makes it look fat.
Or I guess that one day he was attempting our bubble tape challenge.
he filled his mouth with bubble tape. Joe! Sir, caught you a mouse! And then he laughs loudly as though he has said the funniest thing he's ever heard. It's very disconcerting. Okay. The security guard remains surely and turns to his attention to me. Let's be having you then. Let's be having you then. What?
Excuse me?
I don't know. He holds out his,
Oh my god.
he holds out his large hand, which I assume is an offer to help me off the boat, but as I reach out to take it, he snatches it away, throwing me off balance so that I almost fall over the side. What a great start! ID card? Oh, I see, of course. I reach in my back pocket and hand over the laminated card which I was given on the mainland. Wow. January 1st of 2017. That was a long time ago. Savin.
Wow.
Meanwhile, he barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I followed down a
This
dirt
way.
track path and got my first proper view of the island. It looks like a bunch of trees and grass. Yes, beautiful, lush, and green. I'm already under its spell.
Yeah, you sound like it. It's beautiful, lush and green. I'm already on this spell.
After no more than a couple minutes trekking, we're at base camp, which consists of an assortment of tents and huts. Among them are two more solid-looking structures, one larger and one smaller. I presume these are the labs. Okay.
Yeah, you presume.
Presume. No, it's actually the humble abode that you will be living in. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably gonna live in a tent. The whole camp is moderate but functional. It reminds me of an army outpost. I'm struck by the lack of people. In fact, there are no one's around apart from an older woman sitting outside peeling a pile of potatoes, and also the security guard. I smile and give her a little nod, but she just stares back at me. It's Miss
Just
Marigold.
just gives you that stare like you don't belong.
Don't belong here. I try not to get paranoid. Oh, there we go. Here! You stuffed the largest of tents, indicating that I should go inside. That's a large tent. It kind of looks small compared to the other ones over there. I feel rude just walking in, so I make my presence known first. Hello? A firm but friendly voice calls out. Come.
Excuse me?
Wait, he doesn't even look like the picture. I walk in and there he is, hunched over some documents, the great Professor Popper. Okay. Sir, it's an honor to meet you. Yes, yes, you must be Cadger. Come on in, my dear. Glad to have you on board. Good journey? Well, long. Yes, indeed, we're rather tucked away here. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water? Coffee? Something stronger, perhaps? Whiskey? I can...
Again, the photo and the real life thing don't match.
Actually, the photo looks like he made himself a cartoon version of himself. That's what it looks like!
He looks like Jazza drew him.
It's Jazz's version of Professor Popper. Let's see, which one should I have? Like 4 choices here. Let's say, fine, thank you, just some water if you have some. It would be rude to let you drink whiskey on your own. Or I'd like a cup of tea if there's a pot on the go. Considering I've had a strange trip, I could go with the whiskey thing. Drink with them.
Sure, why not?
Well, if you're having one, it wouldn't be rude to let you drink whiskey on your own. Jolly good, I can tell you are. You and I are gonna get along famously. Okay. His expression down here, though. Ah! He takes a swig from the bottle and passes it to me. I try not to show my self-consciousness and surreptitiously wipe the neck with my sleeve before taking a modest sip. It will take you a while to find your way around and discover how it works. So, for today I thought I would just get you knitted out. And maybe introduce you to some of the locals. The cats, that is. I believe you've already met most of the human locals. Yeah. Oh, I've only met the ferryman and the security guard who brought me here, and also that woman that was outside. Peeling potatoes.
You repress that memory, don't worry about it.
Yes, that's about it. We don't care about that woman over there. She doesn't matter. And the lady, yeah, the lady outside. Ah, Miss Marigold and her husband are the caretakers Caretakers. Wonderful couple with the marigolds. You'll meet them before too long. We're a tidy little family here, Kecker, and I'm sure you'll fit in nicely. Thank you, sir. I hope so. Okay, so first things first. This is your basic kit. He begins going through a pile of things on his desk, explaining each of them in turn. This is your backpack. You put in everything in it. We'll be going on plenty of field trips, so it'll be very useful. And as will your own water bottle. Some disinfectant, hand spray. These are heavy-duty reinforced gloves, which are essential when tagging cats out in the wild. Don't want any scratches from feelings we don't know now, do we? I suppose not. I shove each into my new backpack and gives them to me. Likewise, these goggles are to be brought along on the field trips. This lot here indicates a small pile of what looks like laundry. Is basic uniform, lab coats, masks, stethoscope, etc. Portable first aid kit, campfire with all tool attachments. Finally, and without a doubt, most importantly, this! He also has something that looks a lot like a mobile phone, except it's clear it isn't one. This is your catalog.
Yeah, your Pokedex.
Yep, catalog? Yes, the name comes from its earliest version. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, scan them, and log their details. But as you see, we've come a long way since then. Now you can use it to communicate with the rest of our team. I've added everyone's contact details for you. Listen to music, take photos. There's even a pen that comes with it to insert microchips into the back of the cat's necks so that we can keep track of them. It's a very valuable piece of equipment, Kagger. I need you to protect it above all else. Do you understand? Don't give it away to the cats! Oh. He's looking at me directly in his eyes and clearly expects a response. Yes, sir, of course, I will look after it. Good, you'll get to know the functions as you go along. But for now, I suggest we take a stroll out and see if we can't find a few friends to introduce you to so that you can try it out. He hands me the gadget. I feel a bit nervous taking charge of it, but also really keen to having a go. So we get to scan cats. Okay.
Yes, you get to be you're gonna play Catamon now.
Catamon. We head down to the beach. Professor explaining things as we go. The mixture of terrain on Cat Island is quite unique, even in such a relatively small area. You'll find forests, mountains, jungles, beaches, woodlands, all these different geological and ecological zones in one place. It's really most remarkable. Certainly is. Even the lack of wildlife is in itself quite remarkable, except cats, obviously. What do you mean, Professor? There's no anything else? Well, put simply, there's a type of force field that surrounds the island, disallowing anything to enter. Well, I mean, other than cats? Do you mean literally anything? Absolutely. No birds, fish, or creatures of any kind can penetrate it. Sorry. I guess it's because the cats are all here. Why would birds exist on this island? Forgive my lack of intelligence on this subject, but, we're here? Professor lets out a disconcerting loud laugh. Ah, I see what you mean. Well, there is, of course, one small break in this invisible wall, and that is where we built the jetty. But let's not get too bogged down in all this right now. What you need to know is that, basically, the island is shaped like a peanut. Oh, okay.
How does that help?
He picked up a nearby stick and draws a simple map in the sand. Looks like a peanut. Our end of the island is very known to us now. We've been researching here for many years. The other end is not so familiar to us. We have encountered difficulties that have hindered our progress in the region. Uh-oh. What type of difficulties, Professor? Well, we're not sure as we'd like to be, but what can I tell you is that the environment has an adverse effect upon humans, inducing nausea at the very least. And the worst? Fainting, migraines, possible nerve damage. Gosh, that is serious. As I say, it's the best to keep away, but let's not go into all that now, my dear. You've had a long day. For now, let's just say we refer to the far end of the island as the danger zone, with good reason. Ah, way too danger zone. I must ask you not to put yourself at risk by venturing beyond this mountain range here. You're first in the map once more, drawing a line just past the center and an X through the end section. Looks like a dead peanut.
The peanut is now dead.
The one-eyed peanut is dead. Rip. There are wild, aggressive cats out there. I wouldn't want you getting too close to them. Unlike our lovely fellows close to home. He had led me to the spot where a few cats are lounging about. What do you say we try out our catalog now, Cacker? He stoops down and picks up one of the animals and a disgruntled-looking cat who was sleeping under the shade of a palm tree. Good grief. He lets out a displeased mew, but doesn't struggle. Its large body billowed with long orange fur just short of hangs in the professor's arms in a lazy resignation.
Disgruntled cat. Disgruntled, you say? Putting it mildly.
Would you like to have a go at scanning this delightful chap? Delightful, okay. I find an on switch and somewhat timidly activate it. The gadget immediately comes to artificial life, emitting a boop 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 sound with a red pulsating light. I selected the app labeled cat scan and it loads instantly. There's no delay on this thing. The professor holds the cat towards me with arms outstretched. I'm sure he said the scanning chip is implanted into the back of the neck somewhere, but it's difficult to find this one's neck amidst the thick cloud of fur. I blow to make a parting and press the catalog to his skin. It's a bit like scanning groceries in the supermarket where I used to work. That should do it! As he plops the marmalade Tom back into the shade. Sure enough, upon withdrawal, I found the cat had been successfully scanned. Meow. His floofy butt. That is quite a name. Floofy butt. Everyone. The face meow. Boop. Boop. Oh gosh. Amazing! Clever, isn't it? A large part of your job here will be to tag and scan the cat, such as Mr. Floofy Butt. But it looks like you have no problems at all. In that area. Excellent work, Cacker. Thank you, sir. I can't wait to get started. Well, why don't you get a bit more practice with the catalog and scan the rest of them while we're here? These five spend a lot of time together. They're like a little family, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are. Professor seems to be a genuine cat lover like me. I think we're going to get along great. Okay, here goes. No help this time. Professor steps back. First cat I approach is very friendly with beautiful calico markings. It comes towards me, already purring. Nah. Meow. It's Trixie.
Oh, it's a calico.
Yeah. Even though, the eye doesn't look green to me, but okay.
Those eyes look black.
Yeah. Next is an elegant, sleek, hairless cat sitting gracefully in the sun. She doesn't pay me much attention and allows me to scan her with minimal fuss. The name for this one, Snooty Booty. Meow.
I guess that's Lord Beerus' nickname from now on.
Snooty Booty. Even though Beerus would be a female, but sure. The fourth cat I approach is a noisy one. Meow, 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 meow. McMurphy.
McMurphy. These names are incredible. Especially the first one. Oh my god.
Floofy
Ladies and
butt.
gentlemen, Lord Floofy Butt. The true
He's a
high
brown
king.
crossbreed,
Wow.
apparently. And finally, the one I've deliberately put off until last. He's been sulking around the edges of the activity, eyeing me suspiciously as though he could pounce at any moment. I laugh at myself already projecting personalities onto these animals. He doesn't even look like he's doing that, though. He just looks like he's smirking at you. Just, and then in this one, he has the icky face look.
On the top screen.
And then he looks like a lazy cat in this one. Kibbles. He just have white British long hair, apparently.
Kibbles looked like on the top screen before the catalog. It looked like he was looking at you like he just pissed on your pillow. And his
Yes, it's not a that Simcat thingy. It's just this game is interesting. I'll just put it that way. All done. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of the locals. Professor lets out a little laugh. Ha ha ha. I have a feeling you'll get to know them quite well in time. That's probably enough for your first day, don't you think? It's quite a lot to take in. Bumper. Yes. Well, you didn't see the beginning. You didn't see, like, the big fat cat.
yeah, Lord Floopy Butt, our true high king.
You missed him. He was great. I want to see the beginning. Yes. I'm suddenly exhausted and grateful to be heading back to camp. Yes, let's go back to our research camp. It's quite late by the time I've unpacked and settled myself, but I want to write my journal entry before I sleep. I'm surprised at how chilly it is. I pulled my sleeping bag right up to my chin, but I still feel goose pimples bloom all over my arms. Shivering, I rub them to warm myself up. I don't know. It makes me spout a... I don't think it's gonna go that far in it. Seriously.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
It's more like cats like you type thing, but not like that way, I don't think. Unless something happens here, which I have no idea. But you just basically scan cats to see what type of breed they are and what their name and how old they are and whatnot. Just to catalog them. It makes me smile to think that this inherent reaction to the cold is what will be keeping my new feline friends warm tonight. My eyelids close thinking of cats and the island, and the professor. And apparently, snoring sounds. The world around me drifts away as I float up into a dream. Uh-oh. That's that fizzing out again. I'm not sure how long I've been asleep, but I wake up with a violent jolt that leaves me sitting bolt upright. It's too dark to see anything, but I hear a rustling and a strange electronic noise. One that, in my sleepy confusion, I can't place right away. Oh, it's the machine. The catalog? Yeah, that's what they call it. On instinct, I scramble to my feet and follow the noise out of the tent. I look around me and my fears are confirmed when I catch sight of a pulsing red light getting fainter in the direction of the forest. I snap into action, running as fast as I can. Barefoot, dressed in my pajamas, I run at full speed into the forest in the dark of night. Why are we running straight into the forest? Yeah, you must be crazy. The words of Professor Popper are ringing in my ears. I need you to protect it above all else. My legs are trembling beneath me. I stop feeling my heartbeat heavy throughout my body. I wheeze in and out, my breath billowing in front of me in white puffs. I shouldn't feel like this. Why am I so dizzy? I try to get my bearings and realize I blundered perilously close to the danger zone. I choose the danger zone. Meow. Yes. Oh goodness. I can just make out the shapes of some large animals in front of me before my eyes close and I drop to my knees. Looks like about ready to attack me. Oh no.
They're gonna obliterate you.
They're gonna steal the catalog and run away with it. I don't know. I open my eyes. The calico cat I scanned yesterday is sitting in front of me. She drops the catalog at my feet. I pass out. Oh. There he is. There's Floofy Butt. Hello? Can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Kibbles. It's a human. Oh yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. It smells like a human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. Yes, yes, stand back. Move out of my way. Let me have a proper look. I begin to come. I begin to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one defective? Oh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. Cats watch me intently. Am I going insane? Ouch, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Human? Are you alright? I remember you took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's back in your pocket now. I try to reach in my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. Ow, 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 what's wrong with my hands? I try to stand. Ow, ow, my feet, what happened to me? Yeah, I guess that's from all the climbing. I told you it wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? It's an anatomical structure. It's far too delicate. I tried to slow it down. Yeah, Floof tried restraining a human who's that determined. It was a margay, anatomical structure. Bleh. I can't say it right. Didn't seem that delicate to me. I was like, what? Like a what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but that doesn't explain. I show my bleeding hands. Ah, you crawled Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled? You sure did. Like a cat? Yup. All the way from the mountains? Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. But why? Because you got the sickness. Shh! Maybe you should sit down. Human, we need to talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yes, that's right! Why is she angry? Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake, since the dawn of time, how else do you think we communicate? Ah, stop spitting whiskers, Major. You know full well what the human is saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can understand us. Yes, that too. Will someone please explain what the hell is going on here? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves, at least not all the details of how this works. I think being stood in a forest surrounded by a bunch of talking cats is about as much detail as anyone would want. I agree, and to the point, we're rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. What do we know? What we do know is that the clock has started ticking for you. What do you mean? Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Kara. You'll be catified! I'll be what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before, if I may. It would seem we are basing on our experiences to date that when a human manages to find themselves in what we believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways that they previously were not. That is to say, you're screwed. You're not helping, don't make me! Whoa, mountain lion, there'll be no violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerable to which Snooty Booty was referring is, simply put, if you are bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you will begin a process of change that ultimately will result in a full feline transition. Catified. So basically, you're telling me I'm a werecat? I look down, and in amongst the scratches on my right hand are two distinct puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends on me like a cold mist. Basically. Yes. My head is spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Take a breath now, Kara. You're not looking so good. What? Have I started to change? Feel my head for ears, for everything seems to be normal. No. I just meant you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. I take a few deep, steady breaths and calm myself enough to say, okay, so why, how, what? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything that we can, but the truth is we have more questions than answers ourselves. So you said you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends would be a start. The cats on the island, they're going missing. We don't know what happened to them. But the body count is rising and we've hit a wall. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I have to tell you? The Muellers are to blame. Muellers? Now, Floofy Butt, there is no need for name-calling. Speaking of name-calling, I remind you to call me Major, madam. Look, they can't help the way they are. It's lack of breeding, you know. Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, Meowlers! They're elderly only cats, the island's originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term meowlers. And how are they to blame exactly? Well, if I knew that, there'd be no need for the elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proven to be a roaring success after all. Look, Kara, all we really know is that we are no longer safe on this island. The elders who live within the danger zone are hostile towards us. Not sure why, but it's just always been that way. And now, because the cats are being taken, nowhere else is safe either. You expect the occasional mishap. We live in an undomesticated world here, after all. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open wounds, Kibbles. Yes, onwards and upwards. Well, first things first, this werecat thing. Catification! Transition! Whatever! How does it work? Time passes, then you transform into a cat. Yeah. It's a painful process. It's different for everyone, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of this transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics, either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing. The increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. Let's not worry the human with all the details just yet. I assume there's an antidote? I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on, you said there was someone else who you'd put into this position? Well, let's hope you're better bet than they were. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote or get our friends back. I know where the notes are, though. Really? Trade! Huh? You help us and I'll give you their progress reports. So what do you say, Kara? Will you help us? Yeah, why not? Not much of a choice, really, is it? Afraid not. Okay, fine. So where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that will help me track down your missing friends? Will no one listen to sense? Start with the meowlers and I'll eat my hat if it doesn't end there too. Don't mind him, he's set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abductions take place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense. But I suppose nothing does around here at this place. My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm! I have to get to work. You run along now. We don't want you arousing suspicion with your people. You can meet us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara. You're 1 in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that, given your new health status. Go! And thanks from all of us. That dancing cat, though. Disco cat. After a rather painful journey, I am very grateful to finally limp into camp. Having just enough time to get myself tidied up for work and about to peel off my filthy pajamas. Yeah, I still have my pajamas on. When I hear my catalog beeping. I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Popper programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact information at all. Are you sure it is wise to trust everyone? Anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is this? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Uh-oh. Before I can think of a reply, the messages are gone, and my catalog has no record of them. I don't have any time to think about this right now. I need to get ready! As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. In 10 minutes. I'm 10 minutes late, but it doesn't give a good impression of my first morning. Ah, Cat, good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day? I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think traveling and all the excitement of yesterday. I take punctuality very seriously. He cuts across my apology. Not to worry, it's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relaxed about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't mind much what hours you keep. Thank you, sir. So, shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you? He's looking at all the scratches all over my hands. Oh, I fell and I tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. I'm afraid I led you astray last night. Not everyone can take a double malt. How's the head this morning? I decided it's easier to play along. A little bit fuzzy, but it won't affect my work, sir. I really oughtn't drink spirits on an empty stomach. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me. He goes to the tall metal cabinet in the corner and takes out a bottle and some cotton wool. He begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks. For today, I'd like you to help me with a few tasks around the lab to get the hang of things. But for tomorrow, I'll let you make your own choices about how best to carve up your time. Of course, you are primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make the most of your time on the island. Once your work is completed, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it all in the lab. Naturally, I need your help around here, but but I'd also like to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you spend time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place, and there's a lot to see. Take the time to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. There's plenty to see and do, however, you must be careful not to overwork. Take a regular rest and relaxation. We don't want you to burn yourself out now, do we? I'll try to get the balance right. Oh, hey, Vaporton. Don't mind me. I'm playing a game. I'm streaming it. That's the spirit. So there you are. He's done the first class job on my wounds, and they don't bother me nearly as much. Okay. I spend the rest of the day with the professor, getting to know how the various pieces of equipment and lab work, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties I will be performing routinely. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down my bed when I see a package poking out from underneath it. It's the reports that Kibbles promised to deliver. The cats were right. The previous person barely made a start on producing an anecdote. I got it and worried. What if I can't do any better? Will I just turn into a cat? I decided that's not an option and resolved to get going my own research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me that the cats will be a good start point. I have a feeling that they know a lot more than they're prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can't get them to open up a bit. I'm sure I'll make more progress if I focus on one at a time. I'm optimistic that one-on-one sharing will prove fruitful. It's a small glimmer of hope. Tonight, I'm not fit for anything. I can barely even write in my journal before I fall asleep. The first morning of waking up on the island. I'm so excited to discover what the day will bring. Should I jump straight into the lab research, or maybe it will be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats and find a cure for myself? Perhaps a good start point would be to get to know the cats a little better, or a one-on-one basis. Oh, new job achievement, yay! What should I do today? Recon. Probably research. Let's see. Okay, we can do... Yeah, let's do field work. Why not? Professor Popper told me to be ready early and dressed for hiking as we're doing field work this morning. I'm not sure that I have anything that would pass for hiking gear, to be honest. Some sturdy shoes would be good. Oh well, lab coat and trainers it is then, as usual. A message from the professor lights up my catalog. Set to go, I'm waiting outside my tent. Ah, Keka, are you ready for our field work today? Yes, of course. Professor, may I ask where we are going? Somewhere I think you'll find very interesting. Professor hands me a backpack. Here, take this bag. It's very full but surprisingly light. Hopper has set off a brisk pace, calling back to me over his shoulder. This way! I run to catch up. After some serious walking, with me struggling to keep up, the professor stops abruptly and listens. Do you hear that? There's a distant sound of bubbling water. We're almost there! Secretly I'm relieved, as I don't think I could go much further. Just a little climbing. Climbing? I hide my dismay. Where does he get his energy from? It's just at the top there. It's not as difficult. I climb as it looks. We're in front of an almost vertical rock face. Oh jeez. Just copy me! He clambers up expertly. I manage to find my spot that will support my foot and start the climb. Make a little progress before slipping and falling flat on my bum. I try again. This time I take it slow. Again I fall. What happened to the benefits of catifications the others keep going on about? Professor notices I'm having trouble and holds a hand out for me. I manage to climb up just enough to take hold of him, and he lifts me to the rest of the way. His strength is impressive, curious even. Not a fan of climbing, eh? Can't say I've done much of it, Professor. Come along, then I can get you there. He pretty much pulls me all the way to the top and then leads me to the entrance of a small cave. The sound of running water is very loud now. I instantly see why. A natural spring has cut its way through the rock and created a beautiful cascade of sparkling clear water. It looks delicious. Delicious? I guess water looks delicious. Okay. Or a cascade of it, anyway. I kneel down without thinking and begin to drink it. It tastes amazing. As I come up for breath, I see the professor looking at me with suspicion. You should know better. It's never wise, under any circumstances, to ingest something that is unproven. But here, on this island, it would be prudent to exercise more caution than usual. I feel embarrassed at my lack of consideration. Yes, of course, sir. I wasn't thinking, and I felt thirsty, and it looked so good. I do understand. May have made the same error. Fortunately for you, this is tried and tested for safe consumption. It's good, don't you think? My body feels suddenly re-energized. I feel like I could climb any wall. It's incredible. I feel fantastic. What is it? We don't know. That's why we're here. We need more samples. We've been studying this water for months now, and we still know very little about it. Check your bag. My bag is full to the brim with empty plastic bottles. We'll need to fill all these with water. We're going to need as much as we can carry. I do as it says. By the time all the bottles are full and back in my backpack, it weighs a ton. But I feel like I can lift anything. The effect of the water is powerful. The professor also packed his own rucksack with bottles. That should do it for us now. Let's get these back. As we make our way down the rock face and back to camp, I have no problem keeping up with the professor. I feel I can run all the way. However, as we get closer to home, I start to feel the effect wear off. My bags become unbearably heavy. The final limp into the camp is torture. I need to rest. Okay, so we have one research. Let's see. Can do interrogation work. A strange message in the middle of the night. Doesn't anyone on this island sleep? Yeah, let's check out the message. Why not? I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed as half asleep and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen, my eyes struggling to focus. Message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question. Should I do as the message tells me? I don't know. That's kind of suspicious.
I would go with no.
It's the middle of the night. There's no way I'm going out on my own to meet up with someone who refuses to reveal their identity. I go back to bed, put my head under the pillow, and try to get back to sleep. I said try because I can't. My catalog just keeps beeping over and over. Each time it's the same message. I consider turning it off but hesitate. What if the professor names me? I switch it to silent but the vibration continues and begins to bore into my brain. Okay, you win! I angrily dress myself and crawl out of the tent. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No! Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop it! By now I realize I've walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest I see something on the ground. As I get closer it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. Gosh, really? And that's when I see the trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer. Louder this time. Hello? 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 Who is that? Well, who goes there? Major, is that you, Floofy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Cavorting around the forest in the dead of night causing a ruckus? Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source, asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they've left this trail. Ah, Cantula martima. Marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity. Some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say on this occasion it's not very comforting. Fluffybug goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Kecker. Are we going to follow this trail or not? I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, eh? We continue on for a short while and notice the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them until eventually they seem to run out, and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody's been playing a joke on you, Kecker. I sadly agree. This has to be nothing but a wild goose chase. Seems so, Major. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before I waste any more precious snooze time on this fool. I turn to Floofy Butt and notice his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Something wrong, Major? You tell me, human, does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Fluffy Butt's right, it looks far from natural. It looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Major. Well, get to it, Kecker. You're the one with the thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that we find a manila envelope. Major, look! It's a letter! Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it. Here, or back at base? Having got this far, I think it's only fair that I have equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Major. Oh yes, we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I'm torn in the envelope. Well, out with it! It looks like drawings? What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old, antique even. But do they have value, human? Probably, to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know you weren't meant to find them? Because we followed a trail and it led us here. Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I really see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on the island. Fluffybutt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter instead of running around in the middle of the night on a wild goose chases. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I'll study them when I have more time. I think Fluffybutt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Catger. Finally, a sensible suggestion. And after Fluffybutt struggling to keep up, I really need some sleep. Should I do one more thing before I rest? Because I have like only one, or I have 2 hearts. So which one should I do?
Maybe research.
Let's see what other research things we have. Should I do the roundup of rowdy kitties or cataloging samples?
I would say cataloging samples.
Okay. Today I'm in the lab doing flora research. It's not the most exciting job, but if I keep my head down, I can get through it quickly enough. It really just consists of unpacking the new samples of plants and flowers that the professor and I have collected on our foraging expeditions, and logging them into the database of organic substances on the computer. Most of them are commonplace plants that grow abundantly in the forest, but occasionally we come across something more rare, exotic even. One of the samples I'm looking at today is the Calendula Inca maritima, which is very interesting indeed. I can't help speculating that it's been cultivated in the marigold's little greenhouse and then transplanted to open ground. Distracted momentarily by the sound of clinking glass, and I turn to see the beautifully manicured paw of a sphinx cat tapping on a beaker, nudging it perilously close to the edge of the counter. Boots! Stop that, you're not supposed to be here. She laughs as though I've told a joke. That's a frightfully pretty flower, Calendula Inca maritima, if I'm not mistaken. You never cease to amaze me, Boots. How on earth did you know that? Why, I make it my business to know all about rare and valuable works of art. Art? Why not? It's been created like a sculpture or a painting. The marigolds are true artists in the garden. Ah, I wonder if they have something to do with this. Do with this. It's so unusual, even if it's natural swampy habitat. But to have it growing here in the forest is very out of the ordinary. Yes, its properties are extraordinary too, human. Well, I'm quite new to the botanical science, so I probably don't know the half of it. Why don't you fill me in? Although I'm always happy to facilitate your learning, human, I simply can't stay here a moment longer. The air's so stale, don't you find? Don't you find? I ignore her sideways glance and upturned nose. Let's go to the beach and drink some coconut water, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Snoots, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. Don't be ridiculous. You can tinker about in here any time, but the sun will be gone in an hour or two. I'm not tinkering. This is my job. If I don't get it done, the professor will want to know why. Then explain to him you've had better things to do. Snooty Booty, I won't tell you again. If he catches you here, Popper will cage you. Be careful with that flower, human. It doesn't do to inhale that fragrance too deeply. What? I turn to ask why and see her flaunts out, knocking the beaker with the swish of her tail as she does. You did that on purpose! But she's gone, leaving me to clear up the broken glass. Rip. Okay, now should I rest?
Rest, yes, yes.
Rest. All the rest. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! Let's see. Let's see. Should we interview the staff?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. I just don't understand it. All I do is sit in that chair by the dock, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat, making sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off of it, picking up supply deliveries, and occasionally taking a long, lazy nap of the island to make sure everything's lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here. If anything, he doesn't seem to be interested regardless. I decided it's time to get to know the island bouncer and to go and to join him at the dock. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in the chair. He's not wearing his big coat and short-sleeved shirt. And the short-sleeved shirt allowed me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as a security in the bodyguard sense, but now squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see him in a new light. He looks like a police officer, actually, with those shades. I pluck up the courage to talk. Hey, Zane, how are you? Are you trying to start a conversation? He says that without looking up from his crossword puzzle. Oh, I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research Assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh, yes, I guess that's me. So what does the number stand for anyhow? You don't know? He asks monotonously, eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. There's a definite lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? This one, the whole research project that's going on here. Is there more than one? Depends on who you ask. I was just asking you, really. I don't understand your job. I don't need to. I don't care about things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here. Besides, I'm interested in it all, aren't you? My interest consists of what's for dinner and what's my next puzzle book's coming. When my next puzzle book's coming. When's it coming? You get it delivered? Comes with the mail. He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters, yeah. The letters? Who would go in the trouble of sending mail all the way out here when we have email? I laugh, but Zane looks very curious. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With email, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber terrorists. I get the feeling he's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read a letter, right? Not if I'm around. Besides, who would suspect that something important would be in a fragrant pink envelope? There's an awkward there's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual social inept self, I'm desperate to fill it. Need any help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do the cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. The line usually gains me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decided to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, it can't make things more awkward than they already are. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight onto mine, unwavering and hard. No. Have you? Well, not exactly, but he's he is looking at me properly for the first time since we met. I've definitely captured his attention, but too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company can get to me. Gives me daft ideas. Such as? He's still staring at me as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes when I'm out tagging, I feel like they're playing games on me. Like children, hide and seek, that kind of stuff. Some of those cats may be cleverer than any of us give them credit for. Now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when they stay out of the sun. You're going pink. The moment, if there was one, is over. I said maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted, slightly dejected, I decide to head back to camp. I stand up and brush the sand off of me. What's a five-letter word for solitude? Alone. Zane silently scribbles in his book as I leave. Sad. Rip. No details from him. So much for the recon for him. No,
So
I
much for that.
okay, I've completed those. Okay, let's see what's I can pick Snooty Birdie or McMurphy for a date. I just had to see what it was. Should we try one of them? See what the heck happens. I like how they get so happy when you roll over them.
Or the weirdest game I've ever seen.
I know. This is a
It's
strange.
weird, yet the weirdness is intriguing.
It is. It's kind of
It's
intriguing. You're
it's
trying
kind
to.
of like
What?
it feels like it's gonna be a very short, like, I don't know. You don't even have to do any of that. You can just finish the research and boom. I guess you're done.
No, it's just. I think it's in chapters. This would be the end of chapter 1.
I see.
Yeah.
Strange,
Yeah.
strange games.
Yeah. Oh, there's a
It's one of
question
those
mark.
ones.
And they bounce
One of
too.
those. Oh, a question mark.
The mystery cat. Whoever knows what that mystery cat could be.
It's Grumpy Cat. I'll tell you what.
Grumpy cat.
It's like it's like when you go mouse over it, its expression doesn't change. It just shifts its eyes towards you.
Makes eye contact. Do we really need to do this?
I guess it's
Spooner,
because it's the
Nergy is
last
annoying.
research.
You're at that one. Are you on you're on the last sign quest, I guess.
I guess it is.
kind of. I shall join you.
I've already died once.
I shall join you. I will die twice for you. It's okay.
It's like, I shall join you no matter what. I shall join you. Dies.
I'm here. Thanks for eating all my revives. You're welcome.
No problem. You
I
couldn't help.
It's like you're just like, no problem. I helped.
Ow, ow, ow.
I am a great assist. I am dead.
What? My phone goes off. Why does my phone go off?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd say, okay, alright. If you'd like for me to, since there's two of them, I can just go ahead and grab a quarter and do a best 2 out of 3 flip.
Well, I'm gonna go get some water, but yeah, you can do that while.
Why 2 out of 3? Just do once.
Just do once? Okay.
What?
Just commit to it.
Just commit. Alright. Alright, well, when Kat gets back, I shall let her know the decision.
Yes. Put it there.
Ow.
It's highly obvious.
It's angry.
Ruiner Nergigante. It is angry all the time.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Hold on. What was that you said?
The Ruiner Nergigante. It is angry all the time.
Yes. It's pretty
Ah.
obvious that it is.
I once you punched it.
And
You
it's
won?
probably
No, I didn't win. I once you
Ah.
punched it, knocking it
yeah,
over.
yeah, you knocked it over and yeah,
So,
you did it.
Arc-tempered Xenojiva has appeared. 6 days
Yep.
left. And then the boss you're gonna be fighting appeared for me. 2 days left. As long as it took me to kill that thing the first time, I really don't feel like it.
Oh god, like man.
So did you
That's
load in?
cool. Yes,
Now I
I
need to
hot
now I need
post.
to load now I need to load in
Oh.
sometime.
That is a 6-star master rank quest. And no,
I need
Because
to
it's
load in
dead now.
sometime.
available
Take
quest. Well, all right. I'll wait for you to watch the next cutscene, and I'll join.
I got nothing but large monster elder bones.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
You're not done. You thought you were going home.
Yeah, I am done. I'm home. Time to go home. Let's go home, guys.
Alright, here I
Oh,
go.
how
I'm gonna
mistaken
do
are you?
I'm going to do the quarter flip. Heads, McMurphy. Tails, Snooty Booty.
Snooty booty, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Tell by the laugh. Just weird laughter. You got the snooty booty, huh? No.
Not at all.
I'm gonna use a gourmet voucher for this one because I don't trust it.
The best character to me though is Flippy Butt.
Slugger. Alright. Let me know when it lets you do a thing.
Okay,
Gather
so you said
myself.
Okay, so you said that's 6 days for the Xeno.
Yeah. Arc tempered Xeno.
Okay, cool. So that means I can finally gather the
Joining!
I'll finally be able to gather the Xeno pieces I need.
Also, it's weak to ice. Not that you really can go back to a camp anytime soon, but it's weak to ice.
Cool. I have my boom blade.
Waiting for the quest leader.
Hey, that's my corpse. Bring my corpse back.
Do you want me to stream this for you, Jake, so you can watch it? Or are you watching the...
Yeah, I was about to say, at
Kagura
this
stuff?
point in time, I am still watching Kagura.
Okay. All good. I don't have to stream it right now.
Let's see, what time is it?
There's a VOD on my channel for this fight, so it was entertaining. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, well, cutscene's still going. I'm walking towards the cliff because I'm going after my Nergy body.
Mhm.
I'm not done with those things.
It's like, hey, I need to carve that still. Come back.
Alright, I carved my 4. Time to empty out my pockets. Ah, god damn it.
Just
I will
Bring that
fight
back.
the earth. Going down to the heart of the earth. I have to go kill it. It is eating my Nurgle.
I wouldn't
With
say that
body.
sentence in public. I don't think that people won't know what the hell you just said. Welcome back, Hacker.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so would you like to know the result of the coin flip?
Yes.
Yeah, see, this is a fantasy monster. Like,
Yeah,
fantasy,
well, now-
fantasy.
You're
You
not
will now
wrong.
be dating Snooty Booty.
Oh goodness. Snooty booty date. All the booty.
Don't worry, he's snooty.
According to the text, it's a she.
Yeah. Snooty booty's a girl. It's about like a starfish on the beach.
Fuck out that
My
fuck attack.
bathing clothes. It's a sweltering hot day.
No pressure.
I find it hard to concentrate on my work, so here I am. I let the cool sea wash over my feet as my legs lay back on the sand.
You can make him hit walls as soon as you get slinger ammo.
Cool.
And if you make him hit the yellow spot on the map, you actually drop rocks on his face.
It's over here.
Yeah, that's where you want to aim. Ouch.
So when do these slinger arrows start showing up?
He has to drop it.
Uh,
Just keep hitting his face. He'll drop them eventually.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I had to get out of that channel because I'm like, I know they wanted to talk. So yeah. Nothing against them, I just wanted to talk with text, so. I hear a long, loud sigh coming from somewhere nearby. I sit up to see where it came from. Snooty Booty in response, under the shade of a palm tree, is looking about her with a concerned expression. One that I've never really seen a cat make before. I go over to her to see if I can help with something. Are you okay, Snooty Booty? She lets out another long, wistful sigh. To be quite frank with you, human, no, I am not okay. I can't expose this delicate skin of mine to the sun, but there is something I need to retrieve from further down the beach. It is quite the predicament. Oh, right. Want me to fetch it for you? Oh, would you really be so kind, human? I would be very grateful. Sure, it's no problem. We can't have you putting that delicate skin of yours at risk, can we? Snooty looks grave. Indeed not. Skincare must come above all else, don't you know? One must never expose one's skin to the elements, human. It really is quite aging. One must also never get stressed if one wishes to retain one's youthful aura, which is rather difficult on this frightful island. Oh, I know, believe me. How do you know? Are you stressed? Oh no, that would upset me terribly. Really, that's sweet of you. Of course, you really are a precious thing. I do so hope you are finding your time here pleasant. Don't worry about me, Snooty Booty. I'm fine now. What was it you'd like me to get for you? Well, before I tell you, I must ask that you don't inform the others of the whereabouts of this particular item. It's very dear to me, you see, one of the few luxuries I have all to myself. Of course, that's no problem. I can be discreet when I need to be. I do hope so, human. You see, along the beach just south of here, there's a tree which bears the ripest of coconuts all year round. It is quite splendid. The coconuts are always so sweet and creamy. Snooty looks as if she's lost in a wonderful dream. Sounds lovely? It is! I like to drink coconut water as often as I can, and it is so good for the skin and waistline, but the less civilized denizens of the island keep knocking the coconuts down before they're fully matured. Fortunately, no one else seems to have discovered this particular tree yet. Well, okay, Snooty Booty, I'll try to find some coconuts for you. I'll be back soon. You have my thanks, human. I've been waiting for a lot longer than Snooty Booty led me to believe. I've been walking for a lot longer than Snooty Booty led me to believe. I'm not sure if this is even the right tree. They all look the same to me. Although this one does seem to have more coconuts than the others. I decided to take a chance and bundle up as many as I can carry in my arms and hold them back to her ladyship. By the time I get back to Snooty Booty, I'm faint from the exertion, not to mention walking so far in the sun. I fall to my knees, panting in front of her. Here you go, Boots. She eyes the pile with a distinct air of disapproval. I only need one coconut, human. Oh, these are far too many. Well, I do apologize, madame. Tell me you didn't plunder the tree. No, there were plenty on the ground already, so... Oh, well, that's a small mercy. At least you didn't hack them down. Hack them down with what? Well, your hands are rather large and leathery. Snooty Booty, I do not use my hands for deforestation. Well, I'm sure you did your very best, although I don't really know what I'm going to do with so many coconuts. You're welcome, I'm sure. I look down at the pile of coconuts and it strikes me properly for the first time how strange it is that there are no creatures on the island to plunder them. What do you think it is, Snoots, that keeps wildlife away from the island? Do you mean the magnetic barrier? Magnetic barrier? Oh, do keep up, human! I thought you were meant to be a scientist! I realize she must be referring to the force field that surrounds the island. Now, to be dear and crack one open for me. Be a dear and crack one open for me. With my enormous hands? Well, you could try, I suppose. I push down the irritation that is slowly rising in me and smiles politely. On second thought, I'll be right back with a screwdriver. A what? Snooty Booty looks horrified. It's a sharp metal tool that bores into things. What on earth do you need one of those for? So I can make a hole to get the water out of the coconut? How else would you propose I do it? Well, look around you, dear. Look at the nature's bounty. What about that? Snooty gestures with a limp paw at a shard of rock nearby. Snoots, how do you usually get the water out of the coconut when there isn't any human around? Well, the exuberant Kibbles simply loves to break things. Have you not noticed? It's one of the few reasons I tolerate him. Don't you know? Far better than one of your screw dribblers, don't you think? I reach over and pick up a rock. It does look like it could actually do the job. Okay, let's give it a try. Here goes! Oh, and the coconut in a palm leaf, I gently tap the shell a few times with the stone before finally whacking it. It cracks open surprisingly easy, and the water drains into the leaf. There! Now, see how nature provides, human? Yep, again, and you're welcome. Quite. Snooty Booty stretches her neck and then upper body towards the leaf. She sticks her tongue out as far as it can go before raising her big eyes to me. I can't quite seem to... I suddenly realize what she's getting at. Let me help. I let her struggle for a moment or two before I begin to feel a little bit like a child pulling the wings off of a fly. She can't help the way she is. You seem to be struggling, little Boots. Well, you've placed my liberation slightly out of my reach. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to help bring it a little closer, perhaps? Well, of course I would, human. Are you being deliberately obtuse? I would very much like to help you, Snoots, but you make it rather difficult. How? I don't understand. I've been perfectly clear in my instruction. You see, I'm under a spell. It's a very powerful one which prevents me from following any instruction unless accompanied by some magic words. Oh? Would you care to enlighten me? Well, it would go something like this. Please, human, would you pass me my libation? Thank you very much. There's a pause during which I'm really not sure what Snooty Booty is thinking. Suddenly the Sphinx erupts into peals of laughter. I seem to have forgotten my manners. Please do be so kind, human. I'll be most obliged. Oh, go on then. I nudge the leaf closer to her and she delicately laps at it. I truly am indebted. Many thanks. That looks delicious. Snooty agrees without taking a break. You know, searching for these coconuts was a thirsty work. I'm sure it was. She's still lapping at the water. Oh, my throat's a bit scratchy, especially in this heat. Snooty Booty finally comes up for air. Quite, that's beautiful. That's the beauty of the coconut, you see. So hydrating and most palatable, too. You really ought to try it sometime. I look down at the now dry palm leaf. Yes, that's a good idea, Boots. And the very best thing after drinking coconut water is to curl up and have a nap. You know, beauty sleep is most important. Oh, is that so? Indeed, human. I suppose you have other things to do now. Well... Snooty Booty yawns and closes her eyes. I suppose I do. Sweet dreams, princess. She snores softly in reply. But that was Snooty Booty. So now I'm at 6.9%. The anecdote. How that romance does anecdote, I don't know. We could do the other romance and see what that happens. Oh, McMurphy's. Okay, so you can't do that. You have to go with one. I guess you could just go with another round of Snooty Booty. Why not? Snooty Booty? Snoots? I'm searching for the Sphinx for what feels like ages. For a cat that never seems to move, she's surprisingly difficult to find. I'm answered eventually by an unintelligible murmur coming from the shade of a nearby tree. Of course she's sleeping. Snooty Booty? I poke at her gently to try to rouse her. I have something for you, a gift, as it happens. Oh, human, it's you. Whatever are you doing up and about at this time? It's midday, Boots. Snooty stares at me uncomprehendingly. I have an hour for lunch and I came to spend it with you, but if it's not a convenient time, I can always find something else to do. Wait, you mentioned a gift? Well, yeah, I suppose. I have an idea of when we were drinking. Well, when we were drinking from the coconut. I fetched for you the other day. I took some of the remaining coconuts over to the lab and cooked up some coconut oil. Snooty Booty opens her mouth wide. I sit awkwardly staring at her, unsure what exactly she's doing. Well, I'm ready to break my fast, human. It's hard sometimes to know whether to laugh or spit with this spoiled feline. No, Boost, this isn't for eating. You mentioned how good drinking coconut water is for you. So I thought you might like some coconut oil to rub into your skin. Keep you moisturized and youthful? Aren't you terribly clever? I can't help but blush. Snooty Booty rarely compliments anyone, so I feel honored. You may begin. Snooty Booty lolls onto her back, exposing her plump pink tummy to me. Oh, you want me to rub it in for you? Snooty Booty simply smiles in response. Well, a please wouldn't go amiss. Yes, well, I didn't want to make a fuss, but I would prefer it if you asked first. I sighed. There's not much point in arguing with Princess Snooty Booty. I don't think she actually means to be rude. Sometimes she just doesn't seem to understand how to talk to people as equals. I don't have the energy to deal with it today, but I make a note that at some point, she and I are going to have a little chat about etiquette. Please, may I rub this coconut oil into your skin? Yes, you may! I pour some of the pungent liquid in the palm of my hand and rub it together with the other. I have no idea what I'm doing, as I've never massaged anyone before, but I work along the lines of putting sun cream on a friend. As I touched the warm, loose skin on Snooty's primordial pouch, I was struck by how delicate she really is, and I try to be as gentle as possible. Is that okay? You're very skillful with your hands, human. Okay. I do so wish I had those thumb things. They seem so useful. They're quite handy, to be honest, but paws are cool too. Snooty Booty lazily inspects one of her paws. Do my paws next, will you? Snooty's skin is reacting well to the treatment it has become shiny and pliant. I see the good it's doing it. I move on to massage her paws, but I'm quite taken aback by the length of her claws. My boots, your claws are really quite long. Don't you use a scratching post or anything? A what? You know, something abrasive to file them on? Whatever for? Well, it's part of being a cat, really. Stops them catching on things? Snooty Booty's peering at me with one judgmental eye open. Caught on what exactly? Oh, I don't know, Snooze. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Oh no, do go on. I'm intrigued. You seem to be implying that there is a degree of neglect in my grooming. No, I most certainly am not. You are by far the most highly groomed cat I've ever seen. In fact, you are the perfect example of a sphinx. I'm a what sphinx? She tried to get me to say perfect again. It's hard to keep my face straight. Absolutely perfect, Snoots. And you're an expert? Well, I wouldn't call myself that, but I've been reading up on sphinx cats, and you have all the characteristics of a pedigree. It's very sweet of you to say so. Remind me, what would those be? I hesitate for a moment, trying to remember what pause for thought listed on the top features to look for it in a sphinx. There's rather a lot of info, and I want to give her the best bits. I'll flatter her, why not? Well, let's see. I have a feeling Snooty Booty would not appreciate some of the common qualities of a sphinx, including wrinkles and potbelly, so I decided to cherry pick and dress it up a bit. Sphinx cats are well known for their beautiful big eyes and high, prominent cheekbones. Snooty Booty extends her neck and widens her eyes. She also appears to suck in her cheeks, which give her the look of someone who's not wearing their dentures. It's very disconcerting. And they have very shapely physique. The isn't strictly true. Sphinxes tend to be quite muscular, but sometimes something tells me Snooty Booty wouldn't approve of that description. She has now extended her entire body into what looks like a yoga stretch. I see. Go on. Their skin is soft, buttery. This is sort of true because they don't have fur, soak up excess oils. Sphinx cats can become quite greasy. It's recommended they be patted down with a cloth as part of their regular grooming. I'm listening. And they're very regal. Regal? I'm not sure where that word came from, but Snooty Booty seems to enjoy it. Well, well, human, it seems you have a vast and accurate knowledge of my kind. I'm rather impressed with you. I blush. It's not often that she gives out compliments, but when she does, it makes you feel $1 million. Thank you, Snoots. Which prompts me to take what you were saying about my claws far more seriously. Do you think you ought to tend to them? In what way? The length. I believe you're suggesting they ought to be trimmed? I wasn't saying that, but I don't think it's such a bad idea. Perhaps I could help you with that. A manicure? What a marvelous idea. Let's say tomorrow, same time? Well, if I can get away. I feel like she's played me. You really are most kind. Thank you, human. And with those few words, my heart is a puddle at her feet. I will rest. I decided to catch up with some rest and relaxation like the professor keeps telling me to. So I come down to the jetty where Zane usually sits. Today isn't a delivery day as I was hoping. He's nowhere in sight. I sit with my legs dangling over the edge and take out my sketchbook and pencils. I haven't done this in ages. It's so peaceful. I can get lost in my own little world when I'm drawing. I tried doing a couple of landscapes, the mountain range in the distance, the trees of the forest, but nothing is really grabbing me. Then, as I am daydreaming, staring into the water, I notice the patterns that the ripples form on the surface. They're unusual. I suppose because of the magnetic pool. The effect is beautiful. I end up sitting for over an hour just trying to capture it on my page. Wait, I guess I could do more romance to see if I can get anywhere on that. Hey Snoots, fancy seeing you here. Really? But this is my spot, human. I'm often to be found here. I let it go because I'm so excited about what I brought. Pick a hand. I held my fist out in front of Snooty Booty. Oh, a game! How merry! She stretches out her paw in the direction of my left hand. Ta-da! I open it and reveal a piece of coarse stone that I cut up in the lab. Oh, what a lovely rock you have there! It's a coarse stone. I thought it could work as well as a nail file. What a clever thing you are. That's not even the best bit. Look! I open the other fist and reveal my fantastic find. Oh my, what is that thing? It's a nail polish I found in the lab. I have no idea who it could belong to, and honestly I don't like to think too much about it, but I figured I could borrow it for a short hour without anyone missing it. It looks like just your color. I squint at the bottom of the bottle. It's called Desire. I raise my eyebrows at the Sphinx. Oh, nail polish you say? Show me, human! She suddenly seems more interested. I thought I could try giving you a salon-style manicure, benefiting a lady. Most sweet of you. Now, shall we sort the snack and drinks first? Oh, well, I came straight from work, so I didn't really... Oh, never mind. It won't take you much more than a moment to fetch a coconut, and then we shall begin. I can't believe I'm actually doing her bidding. You have to hand it to her that the air of entitlement certainly gets her what she wants. I'm back quickly and out of breath. Within minutes, we settle into our session. Tell me if this feels at all uncomfortable, Snoots. I've never done this before, so guidance will be most helpful. It's surprisingly satisfying. I can see why other cats might engage in the process of scratching at trees and rocks. I've always thought that they were hunting for termites like little scavengers. Next foot. I've finished her hind legs and I'm on the final front paw. It still works really well. Did I tell you how I cut it in the lab? I don't believe you did. So how does this nail polish work? Is it like paint? I ignored rudeness. Exactly, paint it on and wait for it to dry. I've never painted someone's nails before, so this will be a new experience for both of us. Not even your own nails? I mean, I thought a lot of girls did that. I even have done it. Jeez. I don't do it often, but yeah, I do. I open the bottle and make the first stroke. Try to keep trying to keep as still as possible. I think you'll find that I'm a statuesque in my stillness. Your hand is less so. I know. Sorry, your nails are just so tiny. I'm trying to color within the lines. What lines? Never mind. It's a human thing, I guess. I'm not sure I care for the smell of this nail polish. Ugh. Really, I quite like it. Reminds me of pear drops. Of what? Oh, sorry, another human thing. Wow, look though. Your paws look fantastic. Long sleek talons are glintly shining red in the sunlight. Oh my, I am spectacular! She extended her claws momentarily, pressed them into my arm. Not enough to puncture the skin, but if I tried to move it would hurt. For the first time I appreciate what lethal weapons they could be. I must keep that in mind. So come on then. Take out my catalog. Come on what? Pose with the camera! Oh, goodness, I hadn't realized this was going to be a photographic session also. How exciting! Yes, well, I'm going to have to remove that varnish before I go. So I thought it would be nice for you to have a photo. Remove it? The Sphinx cat looked appalled. Whatever for? Oh, Snoots, I'm sorry. Didn't I say I can't leave it on you permanently? It would impede the natural retraction of your claws. And I shall leave them extended. You can't do that. Her expression darkens. I beg your pardon? I thought for a moment I heard you tell me what I can't do. Surely I was mistaken. I'll compromise. No, Snoots, you heard me perfectly well. I must insist that you allow me to remove it. Insist? Her forehead wrinkles with her raised eyebrows. I need to tread carefully here. I ask your permission. Please may I remove the varnish now? But it simply doesn't make sense. Why do it in the first place? I know how much you enjoy things like this, pampering. I thought it would be fun to try, a fun thing for us to share. You had fun, didn't you? Well, yes, but I certainly wouldn't have had I known you were simply doing it to taunt me. I wasn't doing it to taunt you, Boots. She seems genuinely upset. I'm sorry. There's an awkward little standoff, her eyeing the rubbing alcohol, me eyeing her claws. I racked my brains to think of a way to compromise with her. Perhaps if I tried appealing to her sense of style? I wonder if you'd like to try something. I don't know why I didn't do it in the first place, actually. I'm so forgetful sometimes. You're wittering. Well, just before you came to the island, there was a craze sweeping the fashion world. I can tell I've caught her attention. I read about it in Bon Vivant magazine. Go on. It's a French thing, apparently. Snooty Booty cocks her head to the side. It's called, the Pinky Flick? Flesh Rose. She's going if I feel encouraged. I'm thinking on my feet. All the celebrities are doing it. Doing what? Having their pinky nail painted while their other nails are left natural. Just one nail? She looks intrigued. Yes, it really does look so striking and a la mode. Show me! Bullseye, I gotta take Snooty's paw in mine, but she snatches it away. No! Show me! I pause, uncertain what she means, then a penny drops. She she wants me to paint my own pinky nail with desire. Oh, gladly. I suppose I should have expected Snooty to attempt to groom me at some point. Here goes. I swipe some of the bright red polish on my left pinky. What do you think? Looks a la mode, right? I held my pinky finger to the corner of my mouth coyly. Well, I suppose it does look rather fetching. I'll make a deal with you, human. I will wear my nail a la mode if you promise to keep yours painted for the rest of your stay here. It's a deal. I doubt that such a tiny amount of varnish would cause it too much harm. It would come off naturally quite soon anyway. Mine, on the other hand, is going to be more permanent. I can't wait to explain this to the Professor Popper. It's funny, it actually helps with the research for some reason to do this. Be a dear, will you? Snooty's in the habit of now holding out a limp, manicured paw for me to massage. I resignedly oblige. Oh, do you know, that reminds me, I have something for you. Something? For me? Oh, look at you with your mouth agape. Do close it, you embarrass us both. Sorry, I just didn't expect you ever to think of me when I'm not with you. Ha! You do make me laugh, human. Oh my, are you serious? Well, I'll have you know I think of you a great deal. You are my most faithful subject, don't you know? Now, if you want your gift, carry me further down the beach, and I'll show you where I hid it. Cradling the hairless cat like a baby, I stroll barefoot along the beach. Snooty directs me with a wave of her paw every now and then. After a while, she loudly commands that I stop and put her down. Here! Snooty says with her regular level of enthusiasm, pointing a perfectly filed claw at the mound of sand. I buried it. I suppose you want me to dig it up then, eh, Boots? Ha! You always know what to say to make me laugh, human. It's quite a talent, I tell you. With a sigh, I start digging. Thankfully, she didn't bury it very deep. After a few seconds, I find a small object wrapped in a silk scarf. We wouldn't want to get sand into it, would we, dear? Snooty says with a small smile. I carefully open the flimsy silk bundle and turn the contents over in my hand. It's a little black tub with a plain label stuck on it that reads Skin Cream P103. Do you love it? What is it? Oh dear, can you not read? Yes, it says skin cream, but I do not exactly know what that entails. Oh, you see, the one message massages skin cream into one's skin. Yes, I understand that, Boost, but who is this? Where did you find it? Whose is this? Where did you find it? Well, it's yours now, human. I roll my eyes further to inspect the tub. It's very small and plain, with no cosmetic logo or name to be found. I pop open the plastic lid, and sure enough, it's full to the brim with goop. I scoop some of it out with my index finger and smell it. It smells disgusting, like bin juice or something. Boots! I can't put this on my skin. It'll attract all sorts of bugs and wildlife. Oh, come on. Come now. We must suffer for our beauty, mustn't we? What is in this stuff, Boots? Where'd you get it from? All I ask is that you try some on your skin and tell me if you don't see instant results. Oh, Snooty, have you been using this stuff? Of course! Without knowing where it comes from? But I know exactly where it has come from. Well then, will you please let me in on the secret? Oh, calm down, human. You will give yourself more wrinkles. Let us take a moment to ponder how my generosity in giving you a thoughtful gift has developed into your interrogating me in such brutal manner. Take a deep breath. Snooty Booty, I do apologize and thank you sincerely. Of course I am touched by your generosity and consideration. However, I am quite concerned for your welfare. Did you take this thing from the lab? Oh, no, not at all. Thank goodness. I took it from the stockpile behind the lab where the fire pits are. You mean the incinerators? Snooty, did you take this from the toxic waste bin? I have no idea what they're called, but they routinely give forth the most incredible produce. Waste is indeed a filthy word. I think you'll find toxic is the objective word in that title. Snoots, the contents of those bins are meant to be burned. But why are they burning skin cream? I further scrutinize the tub and conclude that it is really some kind of beauty product. This makes no sense. Actually, Princess, this is a fantastic present. I'm going to take it right now for further examination. Thank you so very much. Well, finally, a little gratitude. I'm very grateful. Well, you can report back to me with how splendid you look after a few applications. Oh, I will. One thing though, Snooty, just to be clear, have you been using this? But of course, I wouldn't recommend something without trying it myself first. And no problems? As you can see, human, my skin is as smooth and clear as porcelain. Yeah, so why incinerate it? Speak up, human, you're mumbling. Nothing, Snooty, I just need your word that you will not use any more products that you find near the lab again, okay? Oh, I see your game, human. You want to be the fairest of them all, eh? No, that's not it. Very well, human. I shall all natural for a while, and you will see how, without even a touch of skin cream, I'm still as radiant as a star. Okay, Snooty, challenge accepted? Indeed. Yay, new unlocks. Finally got the skin cream. If Snooty Booty found the skin cream out by the incinerator, that raises a lot of questions. Why are there cosmetics here in the first place? I said run some tests on it. Snooty Booty developed some nasty welts after using this cream. I want to see what it's made from. I have a feeling this is not something the professor would want me to be poking around in, so I've come to the lab late at night to make sure I don't get unwanted attention. I'm quickly able to identify a number of common natural skincare ingredients like shea butter and chamomile. There's some other components that I can't immediately identify. What else could be in this stuff? I ran a sample through the database of organic compounds to see if there are any matches. There are. Cat urine? I better not share that little discovery with Snooty Booty. Decided to check for any clues out by the incinerators. Maybe I can find out a little more about where these things are coming from. Back in the tent area, there's a couple of large pits that are for the disposal of harmful waste from the lab. There's nothing incinerating right now, so I can dig around a little in the smoldering ashes. Attentively moving the debris around with a stick. So far, it seems to be just soot and cinders, no clues. Suddenly, silence is disrupted in the sound of someone entering the lab. I make myself scarce by crawling around the far side of the nearby bush. As luck would have it, I happen to have ended up in an ideal vantage point to be able to be seen into the lab through a gap in the canvas. Oh no. Two men enter with a large crate. I recognize them as the ferryman and his son. Professor Popper is with them. He directs them to a place the crate is on the worktop. Professor reaches in and brings out a small tub that looks identical to the one Snooty Booty found. My guess is that is the next batch for the testing. The professor stops what he's doing abruptly and looks at his catalog. I presume he's receiving a phone call. He dismisses the two men with a wave of his hand. As soon as they've gone, he turns his attention to the catalog. He looks anxious as he speaks. Yes, they've just been delivered. I shall make a start first thing tomorrow morning. Yes, ma'am. I certainly will, ma'am. With all due respect. I do understand the urgency, but I'm sure you understand the need for thoroughness. I can assure you we'll be ready for the deadline. Test out sample 104 is going to far more smoothly than 103. The improvements are very encouraging. There's a long silence. From the expression on his face, I imagine he is being lectured. It's very important to cross-check with the data here. The island itself has a significant effect on the samples. We still have some tests left to do. We're making progress, of course. I shall let you know straight away. Collins abruptly presume Madame cut off. Yeah. Yes, I think. Cut him off. He looks angrier than I've ever seen him. He marches out of the lab and heads off in the direction of his tent. Yeah. I sneak away from the bushes and head back to my own tent. I can continue with my investigations another time. Interesting. Rest. I don't want to be overexhausted. You have a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! So magic. Okay. I wonder if I should do more research. Or he whistles while he talks, yes. He should whistle while he talks. Let's see what Snooty Booty's. Oh, it's nighttime. Ah, the delicacy of a moment is sometimes only matched by the beauty of the moonlight's reflection on the sea. Snooty Booty turns her big shining silver eyes to meet mine. Human, I have lived a long life, and only the first of 9. Don't you know? It has been much the same for as far back as my fragile memory reaches. Seeing the moon reflected on the sea would once mean only that I have stayed awake too long, and that I shall see the same shade of grey reflection in the circles under my eyes the next day. However, seeing how you conduct yourself, human, with the grace of a drunken fruit fly, and yet the confidence of a red-bottomed mandrill, has left me quite inspired. You do not care one bit about how you look. I suddenly try to comb my hair with my fingers as Snooty Booty turns her attention back to the moon. I have found since meeting you that when one cares less about one's appearance, one finds the capacity to care more about other things. Is that so, Boots? Quite so, human. Quite so, human indeed. I have found rather freeing the bath in salt water, something which, not long ago, would have caused me to turn grey with anxiety. In the same vein, I feel as I am owed some thanks for teaching you a thing or two about proper skincare. Snooty, your demand that I use the right cream caused me to break out in hives. Ugh. But once they subsided, you were left with a very healthy glow. I sigh. Katka? Yes, Snooty Booty? There's a poem I half remember. The words have become irrelevant, but the sentiment is so enduring that it almost is enough to cause me to weep at the thought of it. Music is also like that, don't you find? And smell, all the senses, in fact, are the palette that colors our experiences and leaves an incredible mark on the soul. That's beautiful. Human, I believe you and I are both aesthetics. We're what? We share an artist's appreciation in the succulent. And again, what? Beaver and Winnie the Pooh. By the way, I'm in Grobies, so really do try to keep up. I can tell I'm somewhat spoiling a mood here, so I keep my mouth shut and try to look engaged. I have suffered on this god-forsaken island for the lack of many things, but nothing has quite matched the pain of feeling alone, not having a companion to share the more delicate sensibilities that life has to offer. An alluring scent of vibrant hue, an Epicurean delight, all the subtle joys that are wasted on our more uncivilized inhabitants. It has been like air to my suffocation, sharing time with you, human. Why, Snoots, thank you. I enjoy our time together too. And so, she plows on as though I'm in an interruption. I feel that together you and I might create something rather wonderful. Oh? A masterpiece? Oh, right, a masterpiece. Out of what? Out of us, human, a union, a joined together of souls. I don't know. A marriage of hearts and minds. Are you saying what I think you're saying, Snooty? I'm saying that I'm fond of you, enough to give me cause to believe that we may be able to commit to each other in the time-honored tradition of love, human. Oh. Oh, wow. I do not feel the same way. Heartbreaking.
I do not feel the same way. You just see Snooty Booty just drop to the ground dead.
Should be like,
Done.
done with life.
It's over.
Which one should I say?
You know what?
Just do I love you too?
Since the coin flip wanted to do it, let's go the whole 9 yards.
I love you too. I'm amazed what you're saying is more than I could have hoped for. So, it is agreed, human. You shall dote on me as my equal from now on. Absolutely. 100% about the doting. Snooty will certainly keep that part of the agreement. I'm a little more suspicious about the equal part somehow. But as we sit together admiring the huge orange moon, I feel quietly confident that she will learn with me with time or patience and a patient teacher. Relationship goals, Snooty Booty. Shay! Like that. Shay, Sunny. Yes, I'm ready. I've done the Snooty Booty. I'm ready. My body's Reggie.
Wow, that sounded much dirtier than necessary.
It's a sunny afternoon. Most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect, like shooting fish in a barrel. I double check my supply list. Crates, treats, sedatives, snare, catnip, antiseptic cream for myself. I got everything. I had a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it as best I can. It's gonna be a challenge, but I'm pleased that the professor is trusting me with more than physical tasks. I walk out onto the beach, feeling like the child catcher. I keep reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up the crate in an unsuspected location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first I stroll around trying to look as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get close to one of the smaller cats. I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cats respond well to me. She even starts to purr gently. Are you going to come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on then. I pick up the cat, carry her to the crate, and place her gently inside. I lock it shut, even though the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that went better than expected. This may be a good day after all. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey, matey, shall we get in the basket? I give him a little stroke. He doesn't respond badly, although he doesn't seem particularly interested either. I put my hands on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. He doesn't look happy about it and growls a warning at me. Hey, mister, it's gonna be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? As soon as I start to lift, all hell breaks loose. Yelling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get him into the basket, but he stretches out, and I can't fit him in. Ow! Oh, ow! Oh no! I know when I'm defeated, I have to let him go. He scampers off into the distance. I look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeve when on caging duty. Rip. I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now it's been easy to cover up a transition. I just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of the tail that appeared a few days ago hasn't been a problem. Who'd see it? But this new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? I can't risk anyone seeing me like this, so I'm going to hide out for a while and see what happens. Here, spread it here. The shade is perfect. She's indicating a small spot on the sand beneath a large palm tree for our midday nap. I began to spread the old blanket I've been dragging behind me. It's one I used to have on my bunk when I lived in a tent. That memory is beginning to fade a little around the edges. I still recall how confident I felt, though. I knew I wanted to be with Snooty, but I had a strong urge to keep working on the anecdote. Eventually, the decision was made for me. I found it too difficult to remember things in the lab. I kept making mistakes. I just sort of allowed myself to sink into my transition. It was quite gentle, and the reward was worth any problems. Yes, this is a bit of shade is perfect, just like you. But really, Snoots, I don't know why you need this old thing. The sand is so soft and warm. Also, it creeps me out a bit. It reminds me... For goodness sakes, Kacker, you have been a cat for 5 minutes and already you know what's best for us. May I remind you that you have fur to protect your skin, but mine is exposed and far more delicate. I suppressed a giggle. Yes, of course, my love. You have skin like the wings of a butterfly. Yes, I have no idea why that amuses you so. I'm just happy you make me happy. Well, you can make me very happy right now. Name it. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. You really ought to be more mindful of those rash declarations. I mean it. Just name it. Anything. Well, fortunately, I have a very kind and humble nature, so I shan't take advantage of your simplicity. All I want is that you fan me with a palm leaf. I look around till I find one I can comfortably curl my tail around. This isn't nearly as easy as it used to be. But practice makes perfect, my dear. We settle down in the peace and quiet of the afternoon, me gently wafting the palm leaf over our snoozing snoots. How much more blissful could it be? I'm half tempted to warn the new research assistant to just throw in the towel and start to join us. But I suppose they have their own journeys, and so I'm glad I found mine. Chapter 1's done.
Chapter 1 is finished. You
Ending
are now cat.
achieved. Frisian. Should we continue? Or quit to main menu? We should continue. See what happens.
Yeah, we can continue a little further.
Okay, so we have to be someone else now. Who should we be? Should we be this dude, that girl, that dude, this dude or that girl?
Great details with the Twitch select.
Well, I mean, there's only like 5 people to pick from.
Let's see.
guy. A dude named Sandra. Alrighty. I'm sorry.
I just fits his hair.
Oh my gosh. There we go, that's a better
Yeah.
name.
Oh God, I can't wait to see this.
Oh, it's just Andrew. Normal
Oh.
shit name. Typical name like Bob. You know, like the one that's from the guy that comes over.
Yeah. Or you know, we could go with something more interesting, like Dougal.
Should we name this guy Dougal?
Man.
Alright, accept. Chapter 2. I'm finally here! So this is the infamous Cat Island. The place I will call home for the next 2 months. When I initially received a letter saying I'd been placed on the reserve list for the job, I thought that was probably kind of a saying no thanks and put it out of my mind. So imagine my surprise when sometime later I got a call saying that there was an opening for me. Should I still be interested? I have a sudden pang of nerves that it's all a dream, and rummage through my bag until I find the proof that it puts my mind at ease. Here we go. Dear Dougal.
It's time to unleash Professor Dougal.
No, no mistake, that's my name right there in the top left corner! It is his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation. Professor Popper.
Who is now the voice of Beaver.
Yeah. Here we go, here's Bob. He looks so angry. Take your belongings, we won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing till you'll need! Nothing you'll need. Thanks, Skipper. He totally ignores me, so I pick up my bags and disembark. A beefy looking man who I presume is island security is waiting for me on the jetty. Hello! ID card? Oh, of course. Reach in my back pocket and show the laminated card I was given on the mainland. Dougal. Dougal! Wow, that didn't take long. It was 1-1-17, now it's 1-3-17. So like 2 days. Technically 3, I guess.
Yeah, so that was like 3 days. And they became a cat. Okay.
He really looks at before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down a dirt track path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful. Da-da-da. After no more than a couple minutes trekking, we're in the base camp! Oh. Here. The largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. I already have a messy room. Like, I come to this... I just barely get here, and this is a mess. I guess it's your mess, Popper. Xander the professor looks up from his paperwork. Come on in! Come on in! You must be Dougal. Delighted to have you on board. Dougal delight. Confirmed.
Sorry.
Come on in, Shani! You must be Dougal! Delighted to have you! I can't team it up. It's gonna be hard for me.
It would be great, but yeah, I understand not being able to do the beaver. Not being able to do
Hey,
beaver
come
voice.
on in, come on in. You must be Dougal. Delighted to have you on board. Thank you, sir. It's an honor to meet you. You must be exhausted after your long journey. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water, coffee, something stronger, perhaps a little whiskey? Which one should I do this time? So we did the whiskey last time.
Let's do water.
Water would be great if you have some. Just some water would be great if you have some. No, that's something we have an abundance of, Sonny. There are plenty of safe natural springs on the island, but we have the bottled kind too. I'm relieved he passes me a bottle of water. I'm not too keen to start drinking from natural water source until I've personally checked that they're not used as cat urinals. I don't expect you to begin work until tomorrow, Shani. So I'll give you your kit and some basic instructions, and then leave you to relax for the rest of the evening. Thank you, sir. That sounds great. Okay, so first things first. This is your basic kit. He goes over the pile of tools and equipment, explaining each of them in turn, all standard stuff until... And this is your catalog! He holds up something that looks a lot like a mobile phone. Catalog? Yes, it was initially designed to record and store data on the cats. But we've come a long way since then. There's even a tipping pen that comes with it. Or chipping pen that comes with it. To tag cats so we can keep track of them. It's an extremely valuable piece of equipment, Dougal. Be sure not to lose it forever. It can't even be replaced, so I need to guard it with your life. If you need to be. I think he's joking at first, but he looks so intense that I decided to take him seriously. Yes, sir, of course I will. Good! You'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now, I suggest we take a stroll out and see if we can't find a few cats that you can try it out on. So I spent the next hour scanning cats under the watchful eye of the professor. As they do disco dancing.
Disco dancing, Sonny.
They're doing disco dancing, Sonny. I'm gonna die during this playthrough.
I think chapter 2 is gonna kill me.
As I unpack and settle into my tent, I notice something odd. A little dugout under my bed. I reach in and I pull out an unexpected find. A personal journal of the previous research assistant. The one before me. They must have forgotten it. Or left it behind? It's an absolute goldmine of information. It's going to get me up to speed with how it all works around here in no time. However, it seems something else was happening here on the island. Something that was troubling them. I get the feeling there's far more going on here than the professor would have have me know. In spite of my increasing tiredness, I continue to read, and the journal gets weirder and weirder, to the point of where I'm not sure whether I'm still reading or if I dozed off, and am now dreaming of talking cats and kidnappings. Eventually, I lose the battle and drift into a deep sleep. I wake up with a start and it takes me a moment to get my brain into gear. I hear a scratching sound and rustling of paper coming from the tent flap. It's a cat with something in its mouth. Suddenly I'm wide awake. No! It has the journal. Wait! But it has disappeared into the night. Before I know it, I'm out of the cold of night chasing it, running in with all my might. I must get that book back. It has everything I need to know in it. Barefoot, dressed only in a t-shirt and shorts, running at full speed in the forest in the dark of night. This is familiar. I know, I read this in the journal. Something similar happened to the previous assistant. Yet here I am, falling into the same trap. I must be crazy. Yeah, you are. I slow to a stop. I think I'm going to be sick. I realize, of course, I'm close to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone.
Danger zone city.
Everything goes black and I fall to the ground. I open my eyes. The calico cat, one that I scanned yesterday, is standing in front of me. She drops the journal from her mouth. I pass out. A lot of passing out in this game. Oh, here we go again.
Oh god.
Hello, I say, can you hear me? Are you okay? Here we go again. Move back a bit, let them breathe. Has it been bitten? Sphinx cat is standing over me, staring as I open my eyes. Yes, definitely bitten. Look at its hand. I bring up my hand to my face and through blurry vision I can make out several deep scratches and puncture marks. The cats watch me intently. Is this real? I read something in the journal about kidnapping. Catnapping, yeah! I'm sorry, it was the only way. You stole the journal! Oh, but I gave it back to you. But why did you take it? To lure you out of here, sucker. There's no need for rudeness, Kibbles. My head had begun to clear, and I realized that if I can't talk to these cats, not only is it all true, but it already is too late. I have the sickness. We need to have a talk, human. No, we don't. I know what's going on here. I read all about it from your last victim. Now, Kara, that's not very nice. We prefer to think of you as our champion and friend. McMurphy, you silver-tongued Irish charmer! My reputation goes before me. Oh, I know who all of you are from the journal, so let's cut to the chase here. We just did that, dummy. You know what I mean? What happens now? Keep reading the notes. That'll tell you all we know so far. Hang on, who are you? You're not mentioned in the journal. You figure it out. It's not my problem anymore. New cat slinks off towards the forest area. Oh, don't worry about them. They're preoccupied elsewhere. So, what do you say? Are you going to help us or not? Well, obviously I'll help you. I don't think helping is, like, much of an option at this point. I suppose my fate is already sealed. I may as well do my best to help you sort this mess out. Spoken like a true champion. Well, let's hope this one's better than the last one. Ugh. I thought the last one was pretty good, actually. The devil! Unfortunately, I didn't get very far with discovering an antidote or what happens to our friends. My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm! I have to get to work. Go! And thanks from all of us. Oh no. Make it back to the lab fairly quickly considering how little sleep I've had. I wonder if that's one of the effects of the feline transition. I imagine my agility levels will change. I'm strangely excited about getting to work on the antidote. It's sort of a challenge I love. I'm just about to enter the lab. to begin my legitimate work when a catalog beeps a message without any contact information. Some things are best. Okay. Ominous. I don't have time to work on the puzzle out right now. Though I'm already gonna be late for work if I don't get a move on. Professor's already working when I've arrived, but miraculously, I'm not late, so there's no fuss. I get through the day as effectively as possible and head back to my tent as soon as my work is done. I want to get to grips with finding out all I can as soon as possible. Well, that was quick. I didn't even talk to him. Okay. So I got 16.7%. Okay. Let's see. What I'm just gonna check to see what I can do. Okay. You can date Floofy Butt or McMurphy. Let's see. Let's see the research. What can I research? Research 4 is the only one right now. And what's another one? That's the recon I can do. Recon 7 and Recon 2. What's that? Environmental research. Yeah, let's do environmental research. That sounds good. This music. I've taken some time off today so that Trixie can show me the water pools she's been telling me about. I have some sample bottles in my backpack along with some food and a blanket. If that's nice, we can have a picnic lunch here. So these pools appear to be different colors? They don't appear to be, homie. They are. Well, we can't prove that until we've tested them. Reflection, refraction, and dispersion can play some fancy tricks on the eye. Pooh to your testing. You take all magic away, science person. It makes your world very dull, I think. Maybe you're right, Trixie. Let's wait and see what wonders you are going to show me, eh? That's right, this way! She disappeared from sight. I run to the cliffside where she was walking and look over the edge. I could see that she jumped to a small rock shelf above, about 4 meters down from where I'm stood. Come on, you can do it! Don't be a fraidy cat! I'm more concerned about how I will get back up again, actually. There are kind of steps further along, but this way is closer to the entrance. Not wanting to appear too much of a killjoy, I clamber over to the edge and lower myself down, dropping to the last few feet. Impressive! You're getting a feline spring in your step. If you say so. I'm worried I may have twisted my ankle, but I don't want to say anything. Follow me, Springy! She disappeared again, like keeping up with the jackrabbit. Follow my voice! And suddenly an alarming sound is coming from between two rock faces. It's high-pitched screeching, and very loud. I squeezed through the crevice and what looked like a cave without a ceiling. Trix, stop! The sound so amplified in this enclosure it has become deafening. Sorry, homie, but it feels good. It feels so good. Have a try. What? Yell, shout, scream, sing at the top of your voice so loud as you can. Oh, really? I feel self-conscious, but I'm dying to have a go. You only live once, and so fabulous! She makes the noise again. This time I join in. It's fantastic. The acoustics are something else. It's like an amphitheater. Eventually we run out of steam and flop to the ground exhausted, but exhilarated too. After we have caught our breath, I'm ready to push onwards. We better get on if we don't want to be back too late. We're here! I'm surprised. I was expecting something more impressive, I suppose. This is the place? I look around and for the first time I notice several small pools of water not much larger than puddles around the edges of the enclosure. Oh, I see. I bend down next to the nearest pool and see straight away that it is the deepest red. It looks like blood. Look at mine! Like liquid sky! I cross the opposite side where Trixie is sitting. Sure enough, there is the clearest, richest blue water. and melted emeralds. Again, I follow to find another pool, as green as spring foliage. There's another deep as purple, one in orange, yellow, pink. Well, it certainly is amazing as you said, Trix. How strange is that they're all so different? What's causing it? It has to be a trick of the light. Put your hand in. Well, I'm not sure that's a good idea. There could be any number of bacteria making this happen. Best not to touch until we're sure it's safe. I've done it lots of times. Oh, lots. It's fine. I glance over, and sure enough, she has her furry little paws in the golden-colored water. So I'm reassured. I scoop some of the blue water up and sniff it. It smells wonderful, as though it has been perfumed. What is that smell? It's weirdly familiar. I took out my bottles and began collecting the waters. My theory about the light is blown when I line the little bottles up together and they each retain their original hue. Something is dyeing this water. Can't wait to get back to the lab to run some tests. We can go back the easy way if you like. Follow me! We head back along the rock shelf and go past the spot we jumped down on the way here. Further along there's an ascent, just as Trixie had said, but I would hardly call it steps. Someone has clearly tried to make a trail here, but it's all a bit rough and ready. Further along still, I can make out a large empty metal drum. It's rusted, obviously discarded some time ago. I get a closer look and see that there is a tap near the base, and it remains of a label, but I can barely make it out in words. I take a picture of it with my catalog to decipher later. The perfume I smelled in the cave seems to be stronger here. I'm very intrigued. Trixie couldn't be less interested in all of this. She's happily skipping ahead, looking for a good picnic spot for us. I will have to be patient with my investigations. Okay. Should I do the recon or should I do research or romance?
I would say do research.
Research? Okay. Grooming cats. Alright, we'll groom cats. I put on my latex gloves and gather my tools. Brush, scissors, swabs, kitty wipes. Kitty wipes? I can't help but think I've forgotten something. Ah, of course! Treats! I leave the tent and head for the lab, stopping to stroke a few of the island's residents on the way. Meow, meow, meow. He already looks like part of a cat. I call out the laceling subjects as I enter the lab. Looky what I've got! I shake the bag of treats as the small lab erupts with hungry meows. If you want these, you'll have to behave, okay? I opened the first crate home of grouchy old Mr. Bumble, and I gently left him onto the counter to be groomed. Morning, Grumpy, let's check your ears. No debris, lovely. I have a feeling you may be discharged in the next day or two. He was brought in with a mild infection, slight temperature, weepy eyes, but he seems to have recovered remarkably well. In fact, I'm going to recommend to Professor Popper that we release him by the end of the week. I give Mr. Bumble a cheeky cuddle before I begin to brush his matte fur. Wow, where does it all come from? There's enough fur here to make another cat. Mr. Bumble is beginning to get agitated and lets out a displeased grumble. I know, it's very annoying. Just got to trim you up a bit, and then you can get back to sleep. He resignedly let me cut some of the hair around his bum and back of his legs, his hind legs. Aren't you a good boy? Here we go. Nom nom. Pour some of the little fish-shaped treats onto the counter, and the ragamuffin practically inhales them. Now let's get you back into your cozy crate. I took him away and opened the next one. Your turn, Socks. Just cut and color, right? I started my own joke and began brushing the little white cat. He's a lot more lively than old Bumble and keeps trying to bite the brush. Bite the brush. Hey, don't make me get the harness, Socks. That's no fun for us either. For either of us. Cat seems to understand and settles down, only gives the brush an occasional nip when he thinks I won't notice. Oh, hello, what's this? I noticed a little red patch on his neck, just under his chin. Oh, no, we don't have botflies, do we? Poor Soxies. I took the magnifying glass out of my inner pocket and examined the inflamed area closer. Ouch. Sox begins to struggle away from me. He must be in quite a lot of discomfort. It's okay, Sox, I'm just looking. I stroked the little cat and tried to calm him down. I hate using sedatives on a subject unless absolutely necessary. After a while, I'm able to get a better look at the wound. There doesn't seem to be anything living under here. I'm relieved I don't have to deal with any botflies. Looks strange. It's like a rash or a sore, but I'm not sure how or where it could have picked it up. I'm worried about how to proceed. Should I just clean it with some saline solution and let the air get to it, or should I put some of the professor's soothing cream 116 on and wrap it in gauze? So, should I use the solution or the cream? What do you think?
Like, detail was it was bad enough to where it needed to be wrapped?
It was just, it looked like it was from a thing, but he was just trying to clean it and everything.
Okay,
Treat it. I would say the
okay.
saline solution, because I don't trust those damn
Yeah.
creams.
Right, true.
Because who knows what the professor was doing with the creams.
I know exactly what I was doing with those creams, Sonny.
Shunny! A sore like this should be cleaned with little saline. No need for anything stronger. I'll reassess the need for cream 116 if it hasn't cleared up in a few days. Pour some saline into some gauze and gently clean Soxy's wound. He squirms a little. It's not very comfortable for him, but generally he sits pretty well. That's done in no time. Oh, I got research 6. Yes! Yes! New unlocks! Is there? No, I can only do Floofy Butter McMurphy. Let's see. Should we do the other recon? Which is analyzing products. Or should I do one of the other things? Let's see. What's the research one they have just brought up? Follicle Miracle. I think I'd rather do the other one. If I was to do that. Or should I do some romance? Yeah. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Yes, I'm back. I had to run to the bathroom real quick.
Ah.
Let's see. I would say either start a romance or go with one of the either research or recon.
Well, if we do romance, it would be either Floofy Butt or McMurphy.
Well, you should obviously know which one would be my vote.
Floofy Butt.
Floofy butt.
Not sure what to expect. I've come to the forest with Floofy Butt for what I assumed would be a pleasant way to spend my afternoon off work. But I have now discovered that he's billing it as an informative afternoon of instruction and practical participation. That sounds suspiciously like a lecture to me. Oh well, Professor Popper would say, a scientist must keep an open mind. There is something I would normally do alone, but you strike me as a like-minded soul, interested in both gastronomic and anomic pleasures. Perhaps now would be a good time I lay down the blanket. I asked to bring you. We don't want to put that tender skin of yours under duress. I lay the blanket on the ground awkwardly and wonder where he's going with this. Relax, Dougal. This doesn't usually take very long. Suddenly, without warning, there's a loud plop as the bird plummets out of the sky under the blanket. Told you so. Oh my, it's dead? As a doornail. What happened to it? Just the force field, of course. Now, enough foolish questions, Dougal. Let's get started, shall we? Just like the lecture from the uni. What exactly are we doing here, Floofy Butt? I told you, don't use that ridiculous name. I prefer Major, if you please. What exactly are we doing here, Major? This is my little surprise. I'm a bird fancier. Oh, and you fancy your birds dead? Quite! All the better to practice my other pursuit. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but what pursuit would that be, Major? I'm a self-taught paleontologist. You mean as in post-mortem? Somewhat rudimentary, don't you know, but I can now find my way around the innards of the average seagull with remarkable dexterity. Yes, well, whatever floats your boat. I'm interested in crossword puzzles myself, not everyone's cup of tea, but it occupies a wet afternoon. Okay, back to the task at hand, Dougal. I shall begin the autopsy. Keep your wits about you. There'll be questions at the end. Aha! I knew this was a lecture. Flippy Wet pings out a razor-sharp claw and begins going to town on the bird. Well then. There's no neck anymore. Ain't gone. Incision from the sternum to the base. On first examination, the skeleton appears to be typical. I note there's no break in the neck, indicating that the force field rather than the fall killed the bird. Even though it's broken. I feel rather queasy. Oh, really? Yes, point of interest. Some of the initial zap the bird receives from flying into the force field merely stuns them. And it's the impact of the fall which provides the fatal blow. This chap, however, appears to have suffered cardiac arrest. You can see from the size of lack thereof of the heart that even a minor jolt could be enough to induce seizure. I removed the tiny organ. Major had now begun digging the around inside the carcass as though rummaging in a lucky dip. Now we're moving entrails for further examination. Oh, do give a better look, Dougal. It's rather revealing. I can see some of the stomach sac. Stomach sac? Looks like... Oh my, it's gold! Our lucky day, Dougal. Here, have a look. It's some kind of nugget. No, thank you, Major. I'm not in the mood to play with the contents of a seagull's stomach. Don't be ridiculous. It's not a game, Dougal. May I remind you that we're in the middle of a very serious post-mortem, and I expect you, as my assistant, to maintain professionalism. My stomach is doing flips as I hold the object between the thumb and the forefinger. What is this thing? It's so small. It kind of looks like a... Cripes! It's a tooth, Major! It's a gold tooth! Ah, good find. You're a natural. I can't help but wonder why a seagull would have a gold tooth in its stomach. Presumably, Major, this is from the mouth of a human. Oh, I think you're probably right. How do I get it in the How did it get in the seagull? With an inquiring mind, you would make an excellent apprentice. If you would like, I could pass on to you the skills I have acquired. That would be a feather in your cap, eh? I resign myself to the fact that he's not going to be drawn into speculation. Okay, well, I'll bear that in mind, Major. I don't have the heart to tell him that I came to the top of my class at veterinary surgery. And now to the victor of the spoils. Don't be shy, I've already carved. Oh gosh, do you mean... Of course, tuck in. We won't stand on ceremony here, it's a good one, too. Plenty of fat. I have to think fast. Do I really want to eat raw seagull carved up by a cat in the forest floor? I don't know, should we? Or should we make excuses?
Do it.
Okay. Suppose it would be frightfully rude to refuse now, seeing as he's gone to all the trouble of carving. Oh, silly me. I've already had lunch before I came out, but it looks so delicious. I simply must try a tiny bit, a morsel. Very well, Dougal, then I shall leave you the tastiest part of all, the liver! The cat definitely tears an organ out of the carcass and presents it to me on a flat paw. Very fatty! Oh, well, that's too much, Major. I mean, too generous! As tempted as I am, I simply couldn't. Nonsense, Dougal, I insist. I would feel a very poor host indeed if my guests refused my hospitality. Okay, Dougal, you can do this. Think of it as a liver and onions, the way Mum makes it.
Oh boy.
Okay, breathe. Don't think about it, just take and swallow it whole, like an iron pill. I'm really gonna enjoy this seagull liver. I snatch out the cat's paw and it's in my mouth before my brain can catch up. Oh no. It's in my throat. It's lodged in my throat. I can't swallow it. What do I do? How do I... Crikey, that was a close call. I catch the organ in my clenched fists as it simultaneously gives floofy butt thumbs up. Exquisite. My compliments to the cat. Quite so. Next time, make sure you have an empty stomach, unlike this chap, eh? Floofy butt holds up the gold tooth and laughs. I try to force a laugh, but I'm suddenly overwhelmed with nausea. I've had a truly lovely time here, Major, but I'm afraid I must go now. So soon? Sadly so. Work calls. Well, I suppose that can't be helped, but let's do this again soon, eh? Yes, of course, soon. I can hardly wait. As I run home, I feel the slimy, sticky mess clinging to my hand. I curse myself for not bringing my antiseptic gel. Next time I will be prepared. Be prepared! Rest. I'm in a class at my university. The tutor's late and we're all sitting waiting. I turn to my friend who sits next to me to make a joke about the tutor's car breaking down, but my friend isn't there. Instead, there's a giant cat. Oh, good lord. Here, I've got to show this whole picture, so I'm gonna take out my camera for a second. You don't get to see the full picture of that bonefish gonna eat the cat. This picture though. It looks like an elder. It bares its teeth. Oh. Oh. Professor Popper's in this? You look like you've seen a ghost, Dougal. I didn't get to read it all, but I tried to answer back to tell him to look behind me, but the words wouldn't come out. I'm rigid with fear. Can't move. Can't speak. Can't scream. Everyone else is acting like things are normal. Can't they see it? Oh, good grief. I force myself to turn again and look at the terrifying cat, but it's not there. There's just an ordinary domestic cat, and everyone is laughing at me. And I see everyone from the island. The Marigolds, Joe, Bob, Zane, Popper, all pointing and laughing. Here, I'll do this for the whole duration. I jumped out of my seat to leave, and then the bed in my tent sat bolt upright. I shouldn't have eaten cheese so close to bedtime. Okay. I guess cheese makes him have weird dreams. Alright. Let's see. We've got Recon 7. I think... Do we have any more research that we can do? Yeah, research 6. Or we can go back to doing more romance. What should we do now? So what do you think? Do we do more research or recon or romance?
I say more research.
Okay. I'll do the research 6. Serious testing in the lab. I'm intrigued to see what kind of work the professor has up his sleeve. Okay. My stomach is queasy. I really don't want to do this. It's strange. I'm used to treating subjects with medication and injections, but something about this doesn't feel right. Hello, you. I smell the gentle cat on the table in front of me. I look at the syringe in my hand. I turn to the professor. What are we testing for these meds again? He looks up from his desk. Is there a problem, Dougal? I have already told you it's supposed to stimulate hair growth. Why do we need to stimulate hair growth? Why indeed? However, ours is not the question why, Dougal. The likes of you and I perform the tasks set by the people who pays our wages. Such is life, eh? Professor returns to his work and I understand the conversation is over. I look back at the little cat. His name is Smokey. He's a Lecoy cat with very short, fine hair. A real sweetie. I suppose the professor's right. This is my job, and although I feel terrible, I find a way to ignore the pangs of guilt and inject Smokey with the medication. He squeals, but it's over quickly, and he can return to his cage. How long does this usually take? Professor looks up again, slightly irritated. I don't know, Dougal, but you're being paid to find out why, aren't you, my dear? Oh, yes, of course. I make a note of the time and observe the cat. After 5 minutes, there's no noticeable change. 10 minutes, still no change. After half an hour, I think notice his hair looks a little different, but I suspect my eyes are playing tricks on me. 1 hour in and all of a sudden I can see the hair is visibly longer and it seems to be continuing to grow. I must say I'm very impressed and a little confused. I decided to take a tea break. Smokey seems content to nap for a while. Can I get you a cup of tea, Professor? Oh no, I don't know how to. You can tolerate the foul stuff. They brew up in the mess tent. Ugh. I have my thermos of coffee here, thank you. Fair enough, I'll be back in a bit. I've only been gone for 10 minutes and at most, but I enter with my mug of tea. I instantly notice the drama taking place in Smokey's cage. I find it hard to stifle a laugh. Oh my goodness, Professor, have you seen this? Professor looks up, exasperated by another interruption, but then he notices the cage. Oh dear, well, don't just stand there. They'll go get him out. I open the front of the cage and pull a large hairball that Smokey had turned into. His fur tumbles over my arm as I cradle the bewildered cat. Well, I never. Very interesting, isn't it, Dougal? I think it's still growing, Professor. I do believe you're right. Perhaps we should consider the clippers. The professor hands me a small set of silver electric clippers, and I immediately begin using them on the ever-expanding Smokey. I continue to shave for the next 15 minutes until he finally seems to run out of fur. My, that's a lot of hair! We must stand staring at the pile of fur at our feet. Just keep a small amount for testing and put the rest of it back in the back. Mara can dispose of it later. Mara? Miss Marigold. Excellent work today, Dougal. Most interesting findings. Thank you, sir. Although the results had nothing to do with me, I left feeling a tad guilty about Smokey's ordeal. As I place him back in his cage, I check for any signs of trauma, and when satisfied he's okay, I awkwardly take my leave. Oh, I got research 9 now. Okay, so we have... Let's see what's Recon 7. Analyzing products. Should we analyze the products? I guess I should. Why not? Dougal, are you still sleeping? You really ought to be awake by now. Snooty Buddy, are you okay? What are you doing in my tent? All this lazing about is very bad for your complexion. To say nothing about the dragging effects on the delicate tissue around the eyes. Is there something I can help you with? Possibly. I have something I want you to look at. Right now? What time is it? Time you were active. Come along. Well, at least let me get ready. Very well. Snooty Buddy sits down and starts grooming herself. After a moment, she looks up again. Why aren't you ready yet? Can you leave the tent so that I can get dressed? For goodness sakes! Snooty Buddy rolls her eyes and walks out. I get dressed resignedly and follow her. What do you think it is? It's intrigued. I'm intrigued. We're on the beach staring at a partially buried bottle sealed inside a plastic bag. It looks as though it has only recently washed up. Well, there's really only one way to find out. Put the bottle out of the sand. It had some kind of document or note in the bag along with the bottle. What is that thing? Read it to me. It's a good thing I'm just curious, Snooty, or I would be feeling a lot more irritable by now. I carefully unsealed the bag and unfold the paper. I read the note aloud. Initial tests on the most recent formula are encouraging. Subjects 6 through 18 appear visibly younger. Moderate to severe side effects noted include increased hair growth and marked mood alteration. Subject 1 through 5 has major complications. Some news, small tumors, skin irritation, partial blindness, and memory loss. We need you to look into this, check for contaminants, and continue to iterate the formula. Appeared visibly younger? Snooty Booty, is that the most important thing you've gathered from this report? You're quite right, Dougal. We ought to not trust it. That note could have been written by anyone. We shall conduct our own experiment. Apply the cream to my skin. Have you lost your mind, Snooty Booty? Did you not hear what I read out? Tumors, blindness, memory loss? Statistics bore me. You should know that by now. Let's live a little. I'm willing to take the risk. In the name of science. You took the risk on that skin cream you gave me, didn't you, Snooty Booty? I did. What of it? And you developed welts all over your neck, didn't you? Possibly there was a link, but as I recall, we never did rule out the coconut hair collar that Trixie made for me. I believe it was around the same time. Right, I'm seriously advising you not to do anything with this ointment. I'm going to get my kit bag from the lab and see if we can't work out what this stuff is made of. I was hoping the lab would be free, but the professor is in here making some notes. Ah, hello, Dougal. I thought you were taking the day off from the lab today. Oh, yes, I am, Professor. I just wanted to check something. Can't take the test equipment away without Professor getting suspicious. I'll have to come up with some kind of excuse. I'll make an excuse. Well, I wanted to go ahead and get some kind of field work. There are some samples I found that I think it could be useful. Pick up the field kit bag. Popper looked up from his work. Oh? What sort of supplies? I have to make this believable, but I also invite no other questions. Samples are facial. Facial? Yes, a large poo, sir. It's rather interesting properties. Jolly good. Off you go then. Nail it. Take the bag and leave. As I approach the beach, it becomes clear Snooty Booty has managed to break into the ointment. She appears to have spilled some and now is busy rolling around in it. Snooty Booty, what were you thinking? This could be very dangerous. The only danger here is ghastly sand sticking to my delicate skin. Do help me to get rid of it, Dougal. I try to wipe off the sand, but it's stuck like glue. Underneath the layer of sand, I can see her skin is very pink. There's no time to lose. I pick up and run to the ocean, trying to use the seawater to clean off as much of the ointment as I can. Put me down! What on earth? I've never been so humiliated in my life. She twists out of my grip and scampers off in a huff. I think I got it all off, so I leave her to it. Now back to the samples. There's not much to do here. I can do here on the beach, so I'll just have to wait until Professor Popper is finished in the lab. Well, that was quick. As luck would have it, the professor needed to retire to his tent earlier than usual. He had to read some research papers that arrived from the mainland this morning. So now I can continue looking into the ointment. I began to test the substance for several common compounds found in cosmetics, but it's negative for all of them. I widened the test for other organic compounds. I get a match. About 30% of the ointment is cat saliva? If they're using saliva from the cats on the island, they could be infecting all their test subjects with catification. Where have these other side effects come from? I run the ointment again, this time looking for known pharmaceuticals. Before I can get the results back, Snooty Booty comes trotting in. I just thought you should know that the security guard is coming this way. You should make yourself scarce before he arrives. Not that I care what happens to you after you threw me into the ocean. I have no time to finish this experiment but I will work on it later in the privacy of my tent. I take my things and run before Zane arrives. Alright. Yeah. Are you there? I guess not. Probably fell asleep. Okay. We'll do another floofy butt. Do hold your head still, Dougal. I can hardly see a thing with you shaking like that. I held the binocular stable in front of Floofy Butt's tiny cat face. He looks ridiculous. It's like you're not even trying, Dougal. You're shaking like a leaf. My hands are totally steady, Major. Ever consider it could be your eyesight? I'll have you know that I have keen eyes of a goat. Goats aren't exactly known for their vision, Major. That's because the world is full of inorami. Well, what can you see? I can only see a couple meowlers lazing about, of course. Scratching at their fleas, filthy things, I tell you. Aha! What? One of the bigger ones is emptying its bladder. That could mean that they do eat and drink on a regular schedule. And if we're able to find out where the water supply is, we could lace it with a mild sedative and bring the incapacitated cats to the beach. And please don't finish that sentence. No cats will be harmed during this mission. Oh, please, the subject will not be harmed. Just slightly bewildered for a day or two. But why, Major? Well, to examine it for a start. Also, I should like to see how they react when one of theirs goes missing for a change. Major, I only agreed to help you with this on the promise that you would not attempt to exact any of kind of retribution to the elders. Examination is one thing, but if you can't keep your end of the deal, then I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to withdraw. Okay, I'll just observe. I replaced the binoculars in front of Floofy Butt's keen goat eyes. Well, what do we have here? Found something? I do believe I have. There's a few elders here who seem to be meditating. Meditating? Are you sure they're not just sleeping? Take a look, will you? Tell me if they aren't meditating. I adjust binoculars to suit my eyes and I'm quite taken aback by what I see. Fluffy Butt is right. The cats aren't sleeping. They're just sitting in a circle around what is by far one of the stranger landmarks on the island. A large state of Bestet. Professor Popper has always dodged my question about what on earth the statue of the Egyptian cat goddess of war is doing on this island. I'm even more intrigued now. The cat seems to be listening or contemplating or even meditating. Well, Major, I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for this behavior. Cats often behave quite strangely, I've found. Well, they're strange, then they're strange. In my experience, teaches me that the type of strangeness that this classes are afflicted with is beyond acceptable. I believe the only way to protect us all is total disassociation. Major, do you hear yourself? We're here practically trespassing on their territory so that you can spy on them while they're doing whatever it is they're doing. And you want disassociation from them? One must know one's enemy, Dougal. How are they your enemy, Major? They've never done anything to you. Oh no? Those meowlers are wholly responsible for the problems of this cursed island. It's about time they were held accountable. They're the carriers of the cat virus. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't be afflicted with this illness. Oh, is that so? Because I distinctly remember it was you lot who deliberately put me in danger in the first place. The elders are cats, just cats. Just cats, eh? Oh, I see. I realized what I've just said, and although I didn't intend it in the way the Major had taken it, I had seen how wounded he is as I feel conflicted. On one hand, I want to take a stand against his bigotry. It's not helping our process, and I believe it may end up ruining our friendship. On the other hand, I know he had a good heart. As Trixie says, he's just stuck in his ways, and it would be wrong if I started pushing him the views onto him. Perhaps I can lead the example and practice a little more tolerance myself. So should I be diplomatic and be quiet? Oh, come on, Major, I didn't mean it that way. You know I have the highest regard for all cats, in particular you. And I for you, Dougal. However, I must say, I find it increasingly difficult to fathom how such an intelligent person as yourself fails to recognize such obvious truths. Okay, perhaps I haven't given you a fair hearing. Maybe my own opinions got in the way. So go on then, you have my full attention. Teach me, Major. Well, that's more like it. He pulls himself up and fluffs out his fur. It gives him an air of self-importance, so much so that in spite of my promise to be open-minded, I'm already feeling a bit irritated. You see, what you and the other pedestrian-minded inhabitants of this island will not do is look at the undeniable evidence that the species is the cause of all of our problems. The evidence being? Well, firstly, they have segregated themselves from us and created a ghetto, where we have been made unwelcome. That's an act of hostility. I want to point out that they haven't created anything. They have always been there, but I'm practicing tact and diplomacy. Secondly, they carry the virus. Feline transitional gene? Quite! They are trying to infect everyone, make us all like them. And they will have their way too if we don't fight back. I bite my tongue and resist telling them that this is far more likely that they are not trying to infect anyone. They just simply want to live and let live. They probably don't even understand the effect their body fluid has on the other species. Thirdly, it should be obvious to everyone that they have no attempts whatsoever to learn our language. If they were congenial toward us, they would surely have tried to communicate with us by now. Try to keep my voice unmissable. I know how frustrating it is when you can't make yourself understood, Major. Very frustrating. I'm glad you see that, Dougal. At least I have one ally in one of this. Maybe now's the time to strike. You know what, Major? I bet with your superior intellect and my research skills, we might be able to find a way to learn their language. I hold my breath. Why on earth would we want to do that? To communicate. Have you lost your mind, Dougal? To say nothing of your sense of smell? Huh? I don't they have anything worthwhile to communicate. They are no more to us than an insect under a microscope. Oh. Smell, however, is rather overpowering. Shall we call it a day and go somewhere where the air is more pleasant for our lunch? I'm feeling very uncomfortable now, and I want to get away to think. Actually, Major, I have to get back on. I'm on feeding duty today. If you like, I can put something by for you. Very well, I shall call by the mess hall later. As I made my way back to camp, I can't help feeling I ought to have handled this differently. I wonder if I honestly may have made more progress with Floof. Diplomacy just feels like pandering to him, really. We'll do the rest. You have a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Energy has been restored. Magic! I need to get some water. I drink all of mine. So, I'll be back in just a minute. So, burp. Let's see. Edit. I'll just leave it up because it's pretty bright in the thing, so. Alright. Finally back. I'll just finish this chapter and then I'll go to bed because it's gonna be really late. So, I'm at 25%. Yay! Let's see. Oh no. Okay, so research will get me to the end. Okay, we complete. Okay, so all we have to do now is do romance. So we'll just do the romance. We've been walking for ages, Major. I don't have much longer before they'll expect me back. Almost there. It needs to be as close to the danger zone as possible to deter snoopers. Field cats and even fewer humans come this far out, which ensures that my deposits are safe. Deposits? It's an act of trust, you understand. I believe that our recent disagreement and resulting reconciliation has made our bond of camaraderie stronger than ever, and I would like to solidify our reunion with the sharing of something quite private and important to me. I feel slightly awkward and mumble coherently in response. Yes, well, what's past is past, water under the bridge and all that. I am delighted, though, that they have reviewed and modified some of your stronger options. Our opinions. Major, update your map, so to speak. Indeed, though for the record, I'm still uneasy about the elders, but I grant that finding a way to speak with them provide more insight than I'd assume. Well, we are really the same page. We really are on the same page now, Major. We come to a halt. I can smell the pungent scent of the elder cats. I've not been this close to them since that first night. It makes me uncomfortable, but I feel surprisingly reassured to be with Floofy Butt. This is it. We must be completely silent now, so you will have to cease that unattractive sound you're making. I'm out of breath, Major. I can't help it. What about What I'm about to show you has taken a long time and a lot of effort on my part. If anyone else gets wind of its whereabouts or even its existence. Yes, okay, Major, I get it. I swear the most prestigious of pinky promises that I will not utter a word to anyone about whatever I see today. Fluffybutt seems satisfied and makes an effort to straighten himself out before motioning toward a large tree. Ahem. This, my dear, is my treasure. Oh my goodness, what a handsome tree you have there, Major. Very tall and proud looking. Congratulations. Oh, for goodness sake, come over here. Fluffybutt leads me around the enormous tree to its hidden side, which has a large hollow in it. Looks like it leads to a tunnel. Good God, man, are you digging an escape route out of here? What on earth are you twittering about? Your eyes... Use your eyes more and your mouth less, my dear. I noticed then that hidden in the dark recess of the tree is an outline of a large object which my eyes won't allow me to see clearly. What is it, Major? Don't be shy, Dougal. Get in there and have a proper look. I have no choice but to crawl into the cavity for a closer inspection. I run my fingers over the item and deduce that it is made out of old, splintering wood that has cold metal adornments on either side. I use them to drag it out of the tree, and in half a light, and I am somewhat unsurprised to see that it is an old-fashioned treasure chest. I would expect nothing less from the Major. Fluffybutt is looking at me expectantly. Well, open it, my dear. You needn't worry about the lock. It's quite broken. I do as instructed. Oh my giddy aunt, Major! How on earth? The chest is full in the brim with all sorts of shiny things. Jewelry, gems, coins, trinkets, ornaments, baubles, and all manner of curios. Fluffybutt lets out a laugh. Allow me to regale you, human, with my vast adventures and conquests. I sit down and allow the Major's voice to wash over me as I play with some of the items of flippery from the chest. Ah, that coin you're holding. That's a very intriguing story attached to that. Do you know how old it is, Dougal? I do believe the date on it should be legible. I remember the night I found it. I'd gone for a walk along the beach. It was blistery and dark. I feel for the first time how exhausted I am. The walk had sapped me of all my energy. And as I fought with the elements, I looked ahead and noticed the sky is much darker. I'm laying down as though I don't remember doing so. Valiant and victorious to the thunderous applause. I hear a low grumbling sound. Thunder? And the flashing behind my now closed eyes. Surely it is storm, but there's no rain. That's odd. No wet. Just warm and dry and hard to breathe. And I bellowed defiantly, you cannot have them. But the yellers were already encircling. Should I really get up now? Oh, it seems my eyes won't open. That's a pity. As I bit into the still beating heart. I do believe I'm paralyzed. That is a shame. I try to move my fingers. Nope, they're not listening to me. Oh goodness. Fluffy Bert. It's Fluffy Bert. Okay, let's see. I'll show off how this looks. Wake up! We have to get you out of here this instant. Wake up! Up you get. That's it. Come on. As I come to, the world looks dark and distorted. I must be walking because trees are passing my line of vision. My hands hurt. I look down at them and they are pressed firmly to the earth, one moving in front of the other. I must be crawling? I don't know how much time has passed, but I wake up on the sand. I inspect my blistering hands. Fluffybutt is sitting next to me facing the sea. Did I dream that? Oh, you're awake. No, I'm afraid you weren't dreaming. What happened? It's my fault. I took you too close to the danger zone. And in your current state, you couldn't handle it. feline transition is still in its early stages. It seems to be progressing particularly slowly in you. So I'm still very vulnerable to the effects of the elder territory? Quite. I was foolish. I didn't think I was too interested in myself. My story is my treasure to protect you properly. Please forgive me. It's fine. Oh, it's okay, Major. Don't upset yourself. We had a lot of fun until the whole blackout thing. Fluffybot looks genuinely pleased. Really? I've been told I am a very good raconteur. One of the best. How much did you hear? I'm sorry? How many of my anecdotes did you hear before you succumbed? I would be happy to repeat anything you missed. Oh, no, really, Major. I'm fairly certain I heard them all. Well, if you're quite sure, I am, and besides, I think I have a migraine coming on. Well, in that case, you must allow me to nurse you until you are fully recovered. Okay, Major, it's a deal. Major? Yes? Why do I have earrings in my hair? I had to pelt you with jewelry to get you to wake up. Ah, of course. Don't mind, Major, I think I need to get back to sleep. I lay back down on the warm sand and curl into a ball. I'll be here when you wake up. I drift off and dream that I'm a cat. I can get through all the romance and then just go to the end. I rushed out of the forest on Fluffybutt's insistence that I meet him at the location of his treasure chest. After the incident, we called on Murphy and Kibbles to help us drag it to the new spot, further away from the Elder territory. Major, are you okay? I was in the middle of preparing lunch when I received your urgent summons. Quite. I was pawing through my collection just now and couldn't help but reflect upon some of our adventures. Oh, so you dragged me away from the kitchen to reminisce? Indeed, I've grown rather fond of our expeditions together. I do seem to find more unique articles when you accompany me. You've trained me well, Major, and the advancement I made in the treasure hunting field is entirely thanks to you. Yes, I mean, no! You have natural ability, rather impressive. You flatter me, Major. Not at all. I'm a fair cat, and it's my belief that good work deserves just reward. Reward? Indeed. So I felt it would be only right to let you keep an item from my inventory, so that you may start a collection of your own. That's too kind of you, Major. I'm touched. Yes, well, let's have a look, shall we? You may choose whatever you like, my dear. Absolutely anything. I peer into Fluffybutt's treasure chest. All the gems and bits of precious metal sparkle and glint in the sunlight. I gently move some of the more mature trinkets out of the way and dig deep for the good stuff. Wow! I grasp a red gem almost the size of my fist. I wonder if it's a ruby, but before I can begin to examine it, Fluffybutt had swiped it away with its paw. No idea what that is doing in there. I think I see how this is going to go. Anything else, Dougal? Whatever you like. How about this? I untangle a string of pearl, creamy and iridescent. Clearly very good quality, even to my untrained eye. Fluffy looks uncomfortable. Yes, they're rather special, aren't they? I do have a particular fondness for them. I let him off the hook as my eye catches sight of something dull and cheap looking. Major, what on earth is this? The filthy bottle sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the shiny baubles. Fluffy usually likes to collect. Oh, that! Heavens, I forgot all about that thing. It might suit you. If you shake it, you'll hear something rattling about in there. I do believe it contains a note or script of some kind. He's selling it to me. Silly, really. I do get it in my head to find a way to open that bottle, but the cork is wedged in tight. I choose this to start my collection, Major. Really? That old thing? But I can't tell he's absolutely delighted. Yes, and I have an idea how to open it. Go on, you have my attention. I whip off my apron and loosely wrap it around the bottle, then smash it unceremoniously against the side of a tree. Good gracious, Dougal, how lively of you. I have a feeling the real treasure is this. Carefully pick up the parchment from amongst the shards of glass and cast a curiouser eye over the faded scribbles. A genuine message in a bottle. This could fill in so many blanks about the history of this place. A piece of paper? Oh, Major, this is not just a piece of paper. This is better than anything I could have hoped for. Well, if that's what you deem to be treasure, then please, be my guest. Thank you so much, Major. I grin from ear to ear. I must go now, though I'm late for lunch duty. I excitedly kissed Floofy butt on his furry head before dashing back to base. Oh! Got another recon. Yay! Let's do the recon. Yes, let's go do that. The ink is surprisingly well preserved. The only obstacle to my understanding of this letter is deciphering the scrawling scribble. Some words I can make out: punished, God, and presumably the signature at the bottom, Bill. I can make out some other words, but they appear to be badly misspelled, or possibly not even English. But some other hybrid language, maybe colloquial? It's been an hour or two, though it feels much longer, attempting to translate each character and syllable into my notepad. I obsessively write and rewrite the words until a sentence takes shape, and I am eventually left with something quite legible. Once I am satisfied that each word is correct and each sentence has meaning, I read it through from beginning to end. To whomever finds this bottled message, we have been cursed, we be judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks, I couldn't tell you where. We be, but I think it is hell. The cats, they are everywhere, and they won't forgive us. They know what we've done. My guts burned for food, I had no choice. I had to eat. I regret it now. God help me, I do. Now I'm cursed, and the boys are too. The cats are eating us slowly from the inside. It burns more than hunger, it burns me rotten. They stare at me all the time, with their yellow eyes. They know what we've done. They're getting retribution. Justice. God help me. I pray for death. If you find yourself in the path of the infinite island, turn back. Don't do what we've done. Leave them. This is their island. I need my little Lucy to know I love her. I'm sorry, Petal. Bill. Read it again, and then again. Seems the more I read it, the less it makes sense to me. Wonder if reading aloud might help me understand it, like in school. We have been cursed. We've been judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks. So their ship crashed and they survived. I'm not sure if they're very lucky or very unlucky. Cats won't forgive us. I had to eat. I had no choice. My skin prickles with goosebumps. Who knows what lengths anyone might go into order to survive. I'm sure I'm capable of a lot more than I'd like to believe. Sat here in the comfort of my tent, but this? My stomach turns at the thought of it. I think I understand what Bill means, but the next part is less clear, and still more disturbing. They're eating us from the inside? Ugh. Like food poisoning? The thought of that is bad enough. I've eaten a few dodgy prawns in my time. I shudder at the memory, but I can't help thinking he means something else. Something worse. Surely the place Bill is talking about is here, this island. The Infinite Island. I've never heard anyone refer to this place as the Infinite Island before. Most people call it Cat Island, or the Bellerin Island. Formerly, perhaps this crew were the first humans to step foot on this place. How long have the cats been here anyway? This letter seems to be at least 100 years old, and the cats were pretty well established then by the sounds of it. Cats in this know must be the elders. I suddenly feel another pang of sympathy for Bill and the crew. I know how frightening the elders can be. I I decided not to tell Floofy Butt about the contents of his gift. It would only add to his paranoia. I instead promised myself that I will look into this further around another time. Alright, last romance and then the research. Oh. Wait, I forgot to rest. There. Now let me see. Is that everything I need? For my mom's recipe. That is original granola. And fermented by Mum. Large rolled oats, 4 mugs. Pumpkin seeds, half a mug. Sesame seeds, half a mug. Sunflower seeds, half a mug. Walnuts, roughly chopped, handful. Flaked almonds, half a mug. Pecans, roughly chopped. Dried apricots, roughly chopped. Dried cherries or cranberries, half a mug. Banana chips, half a mug. Sunflower oil, 2 teaspoons. Cinnamon, 1 teaspoon. Salt, 1 pinch. Honey, 4 tablespoons. And coconut shavings to garnish. Oh wait, did I forget to order the coconut? I rummaged about in the supply box that arrived this morning until my hands find the bag they're searching for. Phew! Coconut shavings are the necessity. Wait, even if I had forgotten them, I'm on an island with abundance of fresh coconuts. Still getting used to the island life. I set the oven to 150 Celsius and leave it to heat up while I measure out and roll the oats. I have quadrupled the quantities so that, hopefully, it will last the whole summer. Seems fast compared to how much I make at home, but it would be disastrous if I ran out. Homemade granola is an absolute essential. I mix the dry ingredients, nuts, seeds, and spices together in a large bowl. Then I add the wet honey and sunflower oil to the form a golden moist consistency. I've actually added a splash more oil than suggested. The mixture was feeling a bit drier than usual. Next, I spread it evenly on the baking tray, lined with parchment, partially to save the washing up, and whack them in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, checking often because the seeds tend to burn quicker than I expect. The smell always drives me crazy. Toasty, warm, homey. I miss my mom. Once done, I add the fruit as it dries and cools, and put it into several large glass storage jars, being sure to stuff fistfuls into my mouth as I do. Okay. Now I'll do this, and then the last thing is the research. I'm taking a light stroll along the beach, walking off my dinner, when I spot a familiar shape in the distance. Major? He begins slinking away, but I'm sure he must have heard me. Hey, wait! Fluffy Butt stops and makes no moves towards me. Oh, Dougal, I was just enjoying this lovely evening. It's dark and stormy. Is everything okay? He seems very distracted. Yes, all in good order. I haven't seen you for a while. A paranoid person might think they were being avoided. Well, it's a good thing that you're not paranoid then, is it? I suppose so. There's an awkward silence. Well, must be getting on mice to catch, you know? Aren't there aren't any mice here, Major. Just turn a phrase, Dougal. I'm sure you have things to be getting on with. Actually, I have some time if you care to stroll together. The ginger chomp shifts uncomfortably. Actually, I have other plans. Really? He's not forthcoming with the details, and just as I suspect, he's making up excuses. I hear a long yowling sound coming from the direction of the forest. Then, to my surprise, Floofy Butt lets out a similar call to his demeanor changes. Sorry, Dougal, I really must go. Oh, I see. Penny finally drops. I realize he has a date with another cat. I feel rather embarrassed. Why, Major, I'm pleased for you. Really? Of course. I must say I'm glad to have your blessing, Dougal. I believe believe you and I have become good chums over the time we've spent together here. I rather think you would like my new companion. They're so forward-thinking. They always endeavor to challenge my lazy prejudices. I think you'd approve. I do, Major. It sounds like you found a real catch. I noticed a slight feeling of regret rise within me, but I try to muster up a smile. Thank you, Dougal. You're a good friend. But his eyes are focused on where the sound came from, and I can tell he's itching to go. Have fun, Major. I rather think I will. And off he darts, moving faster than I've ever seen him move before. I stand still for a moment, watching the place he disappeared to. I feel a wave of utter loneliness wash over me. I guess he only goes for girl cats. Yep, ready to leave. Last one. I'm worried about the socks. None of the treatments so far have been clearing up his wound. Cleaning the area with saline solution seemed to do the trick at first, but after a few days, the site got too sore to touch even with a soft cotton pad. Not seeing any positive results, I decided to swallow my doubts and use cream 116. I'm worried that I should have stuck with my gut feeling and not used the cream, because now it's even worse, and I've exhausted my options. How best to proceed? I decided to ask the professor for his advice. Sorry to disturb you, sir, but I need your advice on socks. Send pics, please. I snap a picture of my catalog and send it to the professor. Yes, that does look nasty. Have you tried cream 116? Stage 1 protocol was used first cleaning and with saline solution, but I've tried the cream since, still inflamed. Persevere with cream. Takes a while, but it will pay off. I feel doubtful, but resign myself to the professor's seniority. If unsatisfied, try steroid formula in fridge, red bag. I rummage around the fridge until I find the red bag, a box of vitamin supplements. Got it. Thanks for your help, sir. I pour this milk into the small bowl, and am relieved that Socks seems to like it. I sit with him as he laps it, keep an eye on him for a while. After about an hour, I am satisfied that he's sleeping happily, and all his vital stats are normal. I am sitting on my bunk, looking around the empty tent that has been my home for the past 8 weeks. It's astonishing how much rubbish you can accumulate in such a short period of time. It's taken me hours, but I finally sorted everything out and have my bag packed. In some ways, I wish I was staying, but I know if I'm going to make any more progress on the anecdote, I will need expert help, the kind I can only get on the mainland. So it's time to head out. Just one last thing left to do. Make my way to the place where Fluffy Bud and I had spent so much time together. I was hoping I'd find him here, nosing through his collection of treasures and artifacts. The hollowed out tree looked almost sad, neglected as I remained a safe distance to avoid the effects of the danger zone. But even from this far, I get the feeling the Major hasn't been here for a while. I'm gutted. I wanted to say goodbye in person. Major, you here? When I'm satisfied he's nowhere around, I take out a small pillow I made from my t-shirt. It doesn't seem a lot, but I put so much effort in making it. I've stitched our names and a little heart, and I drew some seagulls around the edges. I stuffed it with catnip. Thought he might appreciate a bit of comfort with his advancing years. I only hope Snooty Booty doesn't get her claws into it. I place it at the foot of the mighty tree, under a couple of palm leaves, and make my way to the dock without looking back. Joe, the strange boy who runs the ferry with his dad Bob, is waiting on the jetty. You're almost late! I'm not in the mood for his nonsense today. I feel miserable. I'm not, though. Am I, Joe? Almost late is not late. Something got your goat? I ignore him and make my way onto the boat. Then, just as we begin navigating our way into the open water, something on the land catches my eye. I can't make out the shape of a fluffy orange blob waving from the end of the jetty. Oh my goodness! And I wave back frantically. Someone come to see you off? Yes, it's the Major. Bye, Major. It's been an adventure. Can't see no one. You're going a bit mental? Look, just there, the ball of orange, the tomcat. Joe's gone very quiet, and when I glance at him, he's eyeing me suspiciously. Oh, that's a shame. What? Dad! Something wrong? Something wrong, son? This one's sick. I don't understand, I'm fine. Bob hears from the driver's cabin. That's alright, son. You go take care of the steering wheel. Good lad. Joe does as he's told, leaving Bob and I face to face. Is there something wrong, Bob? I'm afraid there is. It's not personal. I happen to like you. He reaches his pocket and aiming something that looks like a pistol at me. I laugh nervously. This must be some kind of prank. It's just, we can't have you going back to the mainland and infecting normal people, can we? Before I can answer, everything goes black. So he kills me? Good lord. That was major letdown. Oh jeez. Well, that was an interesting ending. So yeah, I'll go through the rest of it later. There's a lot of chapters to go through. It's 2 in the morning, so I will play more of it later. So hope you all enjoyed, and have a good night, everyone.